You know, Deuteronomy 28 chapter. I think about verse 61. Let me see though. Anybody got anybody know of any diseases that so-called African Americans, Negroes are number one in? Well, I wouldn't say HIV is correct. I did not know that we took over Alzheimer's. Uh, make it verse 58. But they mentioned sickle cell, and that's obviously because we're the only people that I know of, if I can be correct if anyone knows different, that even has that trait. I've never heard of any other race of people that even have that trait. Oh, he got sickle cell? Oh, yeah, you's a nigga. You know what I'm talking about? But, and then also, I mean, we're number one in prostate cancer. We're also number one, not only in HIV, but and that's because of sin. You know what I'm talking about? Because I want to tell y'all something real now. Because you'll have a lot of people be jumping up. Oh, it's hard. It's this, this, here, and the other. Before we do that, y'all, look at Amos 3 and 6. Before we go any further, look at Amos 3 and 6. Oh, thank the Lord that trait ain't manifested on you, because I heard sickle cell sucks and sucks tremendously.
I mean, you gotta have two people like that. If she has sickle cell, our kids can have.
I'm talking about on your end. I ain't talking about the children. I was talking about for you.
That's what I'm saying. Two people gotta have it.
Okay, I wasn't talking about the stankers, the muffins. I was talking about, luckily for you, that trait hasn't manifested where you got to suffer.
That's what I'm telling you. Two people gotta have it.
Well, who got it? Your mama?
I think so.
Amos 3 and 6. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Y'all keep that in mind, by the trumpet being blown in the city. And shall there be evil in the city, and y'all have not done it? So we have to always consider, when there is some evil going on, who did it? Because what we read last night in Isaiah 45, that man said, I create light and darkness, good and evil. I do all these things. And we went through this a couple months back. Then we not. When people like to run around talking about the devil visit, devil ain't visit. You just blaspheme. You know what I'm talking about? You just blaspheme. When the things that happened to David, when he numbered the people, what did he say? Y'all say, what you want? You want some pestilence? Or you want the sword to come through? They ain't running around here talking about the devil visit. You know what I'm talking about? You like this here? That's y'all's wrath for my disobedience. But come on over here to Deuteronomy 28 and 58. Let's see what it says. Well, not just on him. This was going to be befalling all the people. He asked for I think he asked for the pestilence, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I'm saying? But not because he said he would rather fall into the hands of the living God than to fall in the hands of man. Because you know that the living God can be merciful. Men will show no mercy. You know what I'm saying? Indeed. It's much better. See, sometimes y'all don't be looking at that. Y'all be going, a lot of times y'all don't be realizing if y'all going through chastisement, that means we dealt with this not too long ago too. And several times, maybe not for all y'all, but some of y'all, dealing with chastisement means you got to be a son of God. Because that man say who he loves, he chasten and rebuke. So you have to sit back and you got to look at people. I'm talking about your family members, your friends. You know what I'm talking about? You read Psalms 94 and 12. He say, blessed is the man whom thou chasten out of thy law. Ain't that what it said? And remember, we dealt with this long time ago. He said, chasten thy son while there is hope, and spare not for his crime. That was a testimony of the son. That's what went down on Passover. He chastened his son. You know what I'm talking about? Because there was still hope to redeem the people. And he chastened them right out of his law. Because everything that happened to y'all sure it happened to him according to the scriptures. You know what I'm talking about? So when we look at this here, when you being chastised out the law, you should be happy. Because that means you have an opportunity to become a child of the living God. How many people y'all know ain't being chastised by the word, period? And we already know what happened. If you don't take the chastisement, which everybody's a partaker of, what that make you? A bastard, a bald-headed bastard, a fat bastard, a short bastard, whatever adjective you want to put in front of a bastard. That means you're not entering into the congregation of Yah, and you got a serious problem. Deuteronomy 28 and 58. He said, if thou will not observe, hold on, Barry, I got you. See what you're talking about. Hold on. Say, okay. And he also say that Alzheimer's has doubled in black people. Barry just something is that there. And we know all, and have any of y'all ever been around people who had Alzheimer's? I have as well. Huh?
Past that.
You passed that?
Mm-hmm.
What you mean?
If thou.
Stop here. Alzheimer's sucks. No, because we ain't there. You say, if thou will not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou may fear the glorious and fearful name of Yah thy God, Then Yah will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues of long continuance, sore sickness of long continuance. Can anybody think of some sore and long sicknesses that our people hold? Diabetes is one. You know what's another one? Black people number one in it. You better know it. Hypertension, high blood pressure, the silent killer. Ain't nobody got worse rates of high blood pressure than black people.
All that fried food.
Some of us don't even have no fried food. I was 22 years old and was diagnosed with high blood pressure. And I didn't eat fried food nor eat salty food. It ran on both sides of my family. My mama got it, my daddy got it. My cousin's suffering from it right now because her mama got it and her daddy had it. You know what I'm talking about? Like straight up and down. When you look at most black people on their family, either their father or their mother, one half, they have heart disease or high blood pressure on one half of that family. And then for most, if it's not that, it's diabetes. You know what I'm talking about? These are sore sicknesses of long continuous. And you know if you ain't careful how you living and what you doing, it's gonna make it worse. But he just sat there and told you. You want to know why your people got all these things? It's from their disobedience. But see, let's look what he say here in verse 60 coming up though. He say, moreover, I will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou was afraid, and they shall cleave unto thee. So now he's talking about all the diseases and pestilence that he put on the Egyptians. He said, if you bought me, I'm going to put them on you. You know what I'm talking about? So now you got to sit back and look at that. That's a serious, serious matter. So when we look at all the things that we suffer, all the things we deal with, it comes from our disobedience. Some of these diseases could have been the same diseases that was on the Egyptians when he put these plagues on. But he said, because you didn't fear my name, and fear my voice, and fear my word, I'm putting them on you. So now you know what that's showing us. If we buck this man in these days and times, them same plagues he put on the Egyptians, back then, he going to turn around and do what? I'm going to put them on you now. Because you know the man going to do the same thing over again. He going to do nothing different than what he did the first time. Verse 61, and he say, and every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, then will y'all bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. You wonder why people got AIDS and all this stuff. He's like, yeah, the government made AIDS, but who allowed them to do it? You know what I'm talking about? Who put it in their mind to even be able to formulate to create something like that? And then when you sit back and you look at AIDS and HIV, what is the disease that mainly attacks? Whoremongers, adulterers, and homosexuals. When you sit down and you get to the root of the matter, it affects whoremongers, adulterers, fornicators, and homosexuals. If you're not a homosexual, you ain't got no bird. You ain't got to worry about catching no plague like that, do you? If you're not a fornicator, you ain't got to be worrying about catching no plague like that, do it. If you are married and you know you got a wife and you faithful to your wife and you're not committing adultery, you ain't got to worry about catching nothing. You ain't got to worry about none of that. But guess what? But when you do them things, that's for you, bud. Ain't no sense in talking about, oh, the government made it. Don't blame it on them. Go ahead and say y'all let you get it. They're going to tell the truth about it. Y'all gave it to you. Y'all sure sat right over there and watched you and say, you know what? Let that nigga get that. Come tighter. Didn't we just read last night, adulterers and whoremongers, God gonna judge? Didn't that man tell you in the law, you commit adultery, your blood gonna be upon you? I mean, that's on you, buddy. You know what I'm talking about? That's on you. So you gotta sit back and think about that. You ain't married, guess what? Keep rolling the dice. Lord, let you get that disease. Book just said you should get it. Didn't I hear what the book just said? Book said you should get it. You married, you cheating on your wife, book said you should get that. You know what I'm talking about? You rump ranging, you carpet munching, book said you should get something behind that. You know what I'm talking about? When you sit back and look at it, black women got the #1 rate of AIDS in America. You know what? Do you know what?
No.
I'm asking you. Do you know? Do you know? Not a lot of black women, the main reason, yes, some women are horned, but the main reason why black women AIDS numbers have increased, it's not like the #1, it's the #1 reason, truthfully, but it's not the only factor, because all these boys around here digging in men booty holes and then going back to their women. As they put it out there, the download dude, because you got a lot of dudes out here, as Pimp C put it, poisoning this is a female reproductive organs population. They poisoning these women. Because you got to, look at, my thing is this here, you want to be a whore, go ahead and be a whore. Male or female. That's what you want to do? Go ahead and do it. But don't try to bring that in the house of the Lord, though. You want to be a fornicator? Go ahead and do what you do. Don't try to bring that in the house of the Lord, though. You want to be an adulterer? You want to be a homosexual? Do what you do. You know what I'm talking about? I don't care what you do. But guess what? But when you try to come bring that in the house of the Lord, though, you're going to be straight. And you're going to be straightened immediately. And then he'll tell you, God ought to put a plague on you. And when people sit there and hear that, how could you say something like that? Then all you got to do is what the book just said. You ought to get that. That's what he said. His book say you deserving of receiving that. See, come on around here to Romans 1:20. See, you know, people don't like to hear stuff like that. That's not right. You say what you want to say. Let's see what he says. Because what he's dealing with is because the people, he said, if you don't want to observe to do his commandments, they should get that, right? That's what he said, right? Romans 1:28. He said, even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient. So if you're not remembering the fearful and glorious name of Yah to keep his commandments, that means you don't want to retain this man in your thoughts, though. That means you didn't want to purge out that leaving out your house then, didn't it? That means you ought to die. He said, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud. See, that's the key thing right there in verse 30. See, people hate God. And we already know that. He said, what did the Lord tell you in John 3, little muffin? When he said men, he said this is the condemnation. That men love darkness and hated what? They hated the light. You know what I'm talking about? See, people really and truthfully, they hate God. And you wonder why people, see, we look at sinners and you wonder why they got off scot-free, why they ain't dealing with nothing. But we're going to deal with it later on in the week. They not casing of the bread of affliction. Because we read it last night, the unleavened bread is the bread of affliction. You know what I'm talking about? So when you're looking at the bread of affliction, you know that you're going to have to suffer for the kingdom of God's sake. So knowing that you're going to suffer for the kingdom of God's sake, then you're going to stand on upon his word. And you're going to retain this man in your knowledge. You're not going to hate God. You're going to love him. See, people don't love him. He say haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. So you have to sit back and look at it. You got pleasure in people that do these type of things. You got people on here, like I told you, I didn't even know who the woman was, who these niggas been going utterly insane about her sex tape. Like, I didn't even know this woman was. That's all these people been talking about for 24 hours. Yet they say they love the Lord, but yet they taking pleasure in this woman. But they taking pleasure in what this woman doing. And guess what? The book say that they worthy of death. So that means they worthy of these plagues too. Ain't they should get every last one of them till the Lord see fit to destroy you. So we have to sit back there and look at ourselves. Man, am I doing stuff like that? The way this man ought to put these plagues on? That should make you consider your ways and actions. This man said, if it's not written in here, you should get it. Are there any other plagues you think that ain't written in here that just popped up out of? What about bubonic plague? Black plague? You know what I'm talking about? This thing, those plagues wiped out millions of people. So let's go on here to get to the root of the matter. Let's go over here to Exodus 7. Let's go over here to Exodus 7. Let's see what we can find here. Exodus 7. Let's see what verse I want here. Look at about verse 16. And make it 15. He said, get thee unto Pharaoh in the morning. Lo, he go out unto the water. Thou shalt stand by the river's brink against he come, and the rod which was turned into a serpent shalt thou take in thy hand. And thou shalt say unto him, Yah Elohim of the Hebrews hath sent me unto thee, saying, let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. And behold, hitherto where thou would not hear. Thus saith Yah, and this shalt thou know that I am Yah. So guess what, y'all? So when you see these things, he was telling Pharaoh that you'll know that he is Yah. Remember what we talked about last night, what the Jews look for? Signs. And we know our signs according to what's written in the Word. So when we see certain... Now, I ain't talking about like how everybody went straight butthole crazy about a blood moon, and you know it's 2-3 more blood moon. You already know if the moon turning blood red, and you can already foresee it happening, you know it's not of the Lord. The man ain't give you no date where you can know, oh, it's going to happen in April, it's going to happen in September, and it's going to happen the next April. We already know. We just can't look for the moon turning to blood. This other stuff got to go along with it, though. We got to see other things. This don't be no fool and jump on in and everything you see and say, oh, that's what it is. Let me see where we at right here. 17. He says, thus saith Yah, and this shall thou know that I am Yah. Behold, I will smite with the rod that is in my hand upon the waters which are in the river, and they shall be turned to blood. And the fish that is in the river shall die, and the river shall stink, and the Egyptians shall loathe to drink of the water of the river. And Yah spake unto Moses, saying unto Aaron, take thy rod and stretch out thy hand upon the waters of Egypt, and upon their streams, and upon their rivers, and upon their ponds, and upon their pools of water, and that they may become blood, and that there may be blood throughout all the land of Egypt, both in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone. And Moses and Aaron did so, as Yah commanded. He lifted up the rod and smote the waters that were in the river in the sight of Pharaoh, in the sight of his servants, and all the waters that were in the river were turned to blood. And the fish that was in the river died, and the river stunk, and the Egyptians could not drink of the water of the river. There was blood throughout all the land of Egypt. So this is one of the signs he gave to Pharaoh, a sign and wonder. He worked to let them know the power of who he served. But before we go look at this here, where we can find this at, let's come over here to Romans, the 9th chapter. So you see something that came to my mind. Romans 9 and about verse 11. Romans 9 and 11. He said, for the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of God according to election might stand not of works, but of him that called. It was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid. For he saith to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So then it is not of him that will, nor of him that run, but of God that show mercy. Now we also know that the Lord will give you opportunity to hear the word, because didn't Pharaoh have opportunity to hear? He chose to do what he wanted to do, though. And they say, well, he said he hardened his heart. We hardened Pharaoh's heart because Pharaoh had no intentions on doing this man's will in the first place, did. Because we know that from 2 Thessalonians. He said, I'm going to let damnation and I'm going to give strong delusions to let them believe a lie, because they don't have no love for the truth. They don't have no love to do it will. So you have to sit back and look at people. You wondering why people don't come to the word, or why when they hear it, they don't move, because they don't want to do it anyway. So since they don't want to do it anyway, the man just hardened their heart. Because he didn't love him anyway. He didn't call him anyway. Remember, he said, I show compassion and mercy who I want to. That's what it's saying in the law. So you got to sit back and look at it. If the man sees fit for you to hear his word, it can't be for one or two reasons. It's either for you to go to hell, or because he having mercy and compassion on you. And when he having mercy and compassion on you, it don't make no sense to continue to be fooling and meddling with things you don't have no business. What type of sense does that make? That make any sense to you? Surely don't make none to me. He say, for the scripture's sake, under Pharaoh, even, and we're going to read this in a moment, he say, even for the same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, that my name might be declared throughout the earth. So that means some vessels got to be the honor, and some vessels got to be the dishonor. Because he said, y'all going to know I'm Yah through this. You don't think the whole world know who Yah is based off what he did to these people? Just like what he said. They might not call him by his name. They might say God, they might say Jehovah, they might say all these false names that don't pertain to them, man. You know what I'm saying? Not the form of God, we know that's the title. But they know who he is, though. They know the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, though, don't they? When you go to talking about rivers turning to blood and locusts and death of the firstborn, oh, they know that's God of Abraham. You know what I'm talking about? His power been declared. Come on around here to Revelation 8 chapter. So you have to sit back and look at that. There's vessels for honor and there's vessels of dishonor. They going to be raised up for y'all purpose. You better hope you ain't one of them. Revelation 8. We'll look at about verse 5. He says, and the angel took the censer and filled it with the fire of the altar and cast it into the earth. And there were voices and thunderings and lightnings and an earthquake. And the 7 angels which had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood. And they were cast upon the earth, and the third part of the trees was burnt up, and all the grass was burnt up. We're going to get to that in a moment, too. And the second angel sounded as it were a great mountain with fire cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became blood. And the third part of the creatures which were in the sea had life died, and the third part of the ships were destroyed. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the waters, part of the rivers, upon the fountains of waters. And the name of the star is wormwood, and the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. So now when we sit back and we look at this here, this man talking about the water being turned to blood, just like it did in Egypt, didn't it? And why was this water being turned to blood? Because remember, we just dealt with them 7 trumpets. When he blowed them 7 trumpets, what was that signifying? That these people kingdoms were finna fall. So now when we sitting looking on the reverse of these 7 trumpets being blown, is what? I got to reverse these wrath on these people. Because we just read, he said, well, that great trumpet be blown. He said, hey, if he say, when the trumpet be blown, who's not going to hear it? So you think when this trumpet get blown, these people not going to hear it? He said, if evil be done in the city, is y'all not done it? Ain't that evil right there, considering the mankind? Water being turned to blood, being made bitter, you can't drink from it. And what is it for? It's for punishment of sin. These are all the plagues of Egypt being brought right back round. Bam, right back to modern time. And it ain't going to be just on the land of Egypt. It's going to be on everybody. See, in the time period, we see the similitude of what happened to them in Egypt. And we got to look at it in deed form. We got the angel who bringing forth, opening up that seal. But it said, let's see who was strong enough to open up the seal. Come on around here to Revelation 5. Because it said before that happened, these 7 seals had to be opened. Revelation 5 and 1. Here's what he say. He said, and I saw on the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within, and on the backside sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof. And no man in heaven nor on earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. And I wept much, because no man was found worthy to open and read the book, neither to look thereon. And one of the elders saith unto me, weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book, and to loose the 7 seals thereof. And I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne and of the 4 beasts, and in the midst of the elders, stood a lamb as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the spirits, 7 spirits of God sent forth into all the earth. So now we sitting back, look at this one here. This man say a lamb as it had been slain. Now we already know. We dealing with a lamb that was slain then. Remember, we dealt with it a couple weeks ago. You took that lamb and you dipped the blood in that basin and put it on that hyssop, and that was for the purification of the people. You know what I'm talking about? That means he overcame. We know Yahshua took that hyssop when he was on the tree for the purification of the people. Because he was purified, he able to open these seals and let this wrath loose. You know what I'm talking about? So now we got to sit back and look at it. Who's the author of this wrath? Man just told you, if y'all do evil in the city, if evil be done in the city, y'all did it. So now we seeing who let forth this evil in the city then. Because he had to do it. There was nobody else that could do it. He said, and then we see them 7 spirits. Remember, we dealt with them 7 spirits a long, long time ago. You remember them 7 spirits, Lamont? That Yahshua possessed. Let's look at Isaiah 11. Isaiah 11 and verse 1. He said, there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. And the Spirit of Yah shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and of the fear of Yah, and shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of Yah. He shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. So hold on what you got. Come on around here to John 7, because he said he ain't going to judge according to the sight of his eyes, nor the hearing of his ears. So let's see what the Lord told you to do. John 7 and 24. Make it 21. John 7 and 19, matter of fact. And it says, did not Moses give you the law, and yet none of you keep the law? Why go ye about to kill me? The people answered and said, I have a devil, who go about to kill thee? Yahshua answered and said unto them, I've done one work, and you all marvel. Moses therefore gave unto you circumcision, not because it is of Moses, but of the fathers, and ye on the Sabbath day circumcise a man. If a man on the Sabbath day receives circumcision, that the law of Moses should not be broken, are you angry at me, because I've made a man every whit whole on the Sabbath day? Judge ye not according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment. That's what we just read in Isaiah 11, didn't he? He just manifested that. He didn't judge based off what he seen or what he heard. He judged righteous judgment. That's the same thing with that woman when they came to stone. You know what I'm talking about? Also when he would manifested that Yah is merciful and compassionate and forgive sin and iniquity. See, hold on. I think of one more spot. Look at John 8. Is that what I want? It could be John 12. Let me make something. Let me see what it is. not what I want. I can't remember what it's written at. But do you remember what the man told them people? He said, I walk. He said, you judge after the flesh. I judge no man. He said, but if I judge, my judgment is just. There it is, right there, right in my face. John 8. John 8 and 14. He said, Yahshua answered and said unto them, though I bear record of myself, yet my record is true. For I know whence I came and whither I go, but you cannot tell whence I came and whither I go. Ye judge after the flesh. I judge no man. And yet if I judge, my judgment is true. For I am not alone, but I and the Father that sent me. And we already know who gave him judgment. You know, for John 5, the Father gave him, put all judgment in his hand. So we seeing forth that he's quick in the fear of Yah. Because we know Yahshua walked in the fear of God quick. He understood the word quickly. He manifested that to them regularly. The knowledge and all. But you see how he didn't judge after his eyes or the hearing of his ears. Manifested in 7 spirits. Come on back to Isaiah 11. You remember what tribe signifies the word judge? Indeed. Any of y'all know what tribe signifies the word judge? It would be Dan. It would be Dan. Verse 4 of Isaiah 11. He said, but with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. So we can already see the last spirit is judgment. That's the last spirit is judgment. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't like to deal with when they come to dealing with the living God. They don't want to deal with his judgment. But there is a judgment. You know what I'm talking about? Men going to have to pay. See, look at John 12 and look what he told. John 12 and 49. We come back over here to Exodus 7. It's actually John 12 and 47. He says, if any man hear my words and believe not, I judge him not. For I came not to judge the world, but to save the world. So we know when he came, he manifested all the spirits except for that last one. Because he could sit there and tell him, I didn't come to judge the world. But look what he tells him right here though. He that reject me and receive not my words have one that judge him. The word that I have spoken, the same shall judge him in the last day. So he said, that's what's going to judge you. The same words you rejected, that's what's going to judge you. Ain't that's what happened with Pharaoh then? Same word was brought to them, they rejected it, judged them. Egypt was destroyed. Not only just Egypt, he said, I'm going to bring this on their gods too. We're going to read that in a minute. Come back to Exodus 7. There's a reason for that. So now we can see that lamb that was slain. He's the only one who could be worthy to unloose this wrath. Y'all hold on. Hey, hold on, pal. I ain't got no room, man. Unless you want to call one of them on three-way. All right. For sure. Y'all come on back here to Exodus 7. If I can get there in a session now. See what we got left in there. Verse 22. He said, and the magicians of Egypt did so with their enchantments, and Pharaoh's heart was hardened. Neither did he hearken unto them, as Yah has said. And Pharaoh turned and went into his house, and neither did he set his heart to this also. And the Egyptians digged round about the river for water to drink, for they could not drink of the water of the river. And 7 days were fulfilled after that Yah had smitten the river. So now we're sitting here saying these people can't even get no water. And you know human beings can't go too long without no water. This water bitter, it's full of blood, and we see the same thing going to happen to men again. And you think anybody worry about that? Now when we see certain rivers turn to blood in the earth, y'all seen certain spots where rivers done turn to blood? It's been a lot of places all across the world where rivers just done turned to blood. Happened in Texas. Happened in some spots in Europe. You know what I'm talking about? That come to my mind off the river. I know Russia and I think Norway specifically. You know what I'm talking about? We see all the fish coming up dead in certain places. You know what I'm talking about? Whales just popping up dead on the beach. Birds falling out. You know what I'm talking about? So when we sit there and look at that, us being Jew, we know that sign. God's wrath is coming. You know what I'm saying? He opening up plagues on these people. And these people don't want to talk about these things.
Water, tap water is toxic.
Shoot, I would believe it's toxic. And why else would it be toxic? Didn't he say he put that wormwood in it to make men bitter and men would die? You know what I'm talking about? See, but us being Jews, we don't see. That's why I say we can't be hyper, jumping on every single thing we see. You know what I'm talking about? But when we see certain things, we know what Lord wrath coming. So when you see these things coming, y'all should be motivated to be like, hey, let me get it together. Let me tighten it up. This man is coming. Because these people don't really want, some of them know what's going on, they don't want to talk about it. When you see a lot of stuff happen, what's the first thing they want to scream? This is a flood of biblical proportions. They always throw stuff out there because they know the God Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He said, y'all gonna know that I'm y'all. They know who y'all is. It ain't no joke. They know it's not no joke. They fear this man. See, matter of fact, come on around here to Malachi 1. Malachi 1 and 11. He said, listen to what he said. Malachi 1 and 11. He said, from the rising of the sun, even to the going down of the same, my name shall be great among the Gentiles, and in every place incense shall be offered under my name, and a pure offering for my name shall be great among the heathen, saith Yah of hosts. Now we can see why when we go back and we look at Paul, and Paul was talking about, matter of fact, come on over here to 2 Corinthians 2. Because you know, Paul always talked about how hard he went. He said these people got to be a pure offering. But not just the Gentiles, we got to be a pure offering too. Because this man said, my name going to be great amongst these people. You know what I'm talking about? I know people, they'll get down, they be like, what's the name the Gentiles know? They know Jesus. See, we ain't dealing with all that right now. You know what I'm talking about? Because when you talking about this man's name being great, it just ain't about you saying y'all or God. You know what I'm saying? We not going to say Jehovah because we not even that stupid. Any of y'all know what Jehovah means? You know what it means? You know what it means? Jehovah means to destroy or ruin. Now we know full well the living God's attribute and name ain't got nothing to do with no destruction or ruin. You know what I'm talking about? That just be dumb to call that man Jehovah, knowing just looking at once you see what the name means. This doesn't sound like an attribute of the living God. You know what I'm talking about? So we got enough sense to know that there. But they know Jesus. That ain't about all that there. But they don't know him though. Because remember what he just said now, Malachi. He said they'll know my name and it'll be great amongst them. Now we've been dealing with, he said they have not known thee. You know what I'm talking about? These people don't know this man. Our own people don't know this man. And you stuck on what name they know of. You know what I'm talking about? It's bigger than that. It's real bigger than that. Because he said it need to be a pure offering. You saying Jesus don't make you have no pure offering. Just no more than you saying Yahshua make you have a pure offering. When this man said you got to offer your body as a living sacrifice, acceptable and kodesh under God. You know what I'm talking about? And that's what we dealing with Passover. This man came and went through that to purify the people. You know what I'm talking about? So now you coming for to purify the people that when you offer yourself to God, this man can accept it. You know what I'm talking about? That's what we got to look at. So when these people see you among, thank the Lord. Let me look at this. What I say? 2 Corinthians 2. I'll show it to you. 2 Corinthians 2, 5, verse 15. He said, for we are unto God a sweet savor of the Messiah, and them that are saved. Hold on. Somebody called this drug. I don't know who it was. That was Catherine. She'll call that. He said, for we are unto God a sweet savor of the Messiah, and them that are saved, and them that perish. To the one we are the savor of death unto death, and the other savor of life unto life, and who is sufficient for these things? You know what I'm talking about? So now you got to look at it. Which one of y'all sufficient to be able to take that? To be a savor unto death or a savor unto life? Because that means if you're a savor unto life, that means what? That's an offering now. I know full well this nigga did not just inbox me this. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Saturday nigga inboxing me business opportunities. I don't want none of that. He should be somewhere dealing in the word. He said that's what he do. Good grief. Nevertheless. So when you sit back and look at it, Yahshua was an offering, a sweet savor unto God, right? So that means that he was a pure offering, right? Which means that magnified Yah's name and made his name great. Because he said that this man would be a light unto the Gentiles, and upon his arm they would trust with him. So now we got to sit back and look at it. Why are we not making ourselves a pure offering that when the Gentiles see us, this man's name is great at the rising of the sun and the going down of the sun? You know what I'm talking about? Because that's what's going to make this man's name be magnified. It's because we walking in him. But see, come on over here to 1 Peter. Come on over here to 1 Peter for that same validation. 1 Peter 3, if I'm not mistaken. I think we read it the other night. We read it again, though. It ain't going to hurt nothing. Right down verse 16. He's saying having a good conscience. That whereas they speak evil to you as evildoers, they might be ashamed that falsely accuse your good behavior in the Messiah. See, that's what we got to look at. That make that man name great, don't it? Because he being glorified when we get reproached for his sake. When we make ourselves a pure offering, that he can be accepted. Come over here to chapter 2 and look what this man say the same thing. Right here in verse 15. Because this is what y'all need to sit back and understand. This is why you ain't got to kick back and fight and do all these type of things. Look what this man say right here. He say, for so is the will of God, that with well doing. This is the will of God now. It's not my will. This is the will of God now. That with well doing you may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men, as free, not using your liberty for a cloak of maliciousness, but as the servants of God. I mean, you don't use your freedom you have in the Messiah to be malicious towards these people. You know what I'm talking about? But you use it to be the servant of the living God, that you be a pure offering, because when you do well, you put these people to silence. Because they don't know no better. But when they see you offering yourself as a pure offering, that make that man name great. That's going to make these people be condemned just by how you living. Just by how you living. Hold on. I don't think a lot of y'all really sit back there and consider that in your own mind. That just how you living will condemn these people. Not condemn them as if you say, oh, I heard that. They got her drugged up. Hold on. Yeah, but y'all understand that? It's not like you run around telling people, oh, you going to hell. Oh, you going to hell. You ain't got to do none of that. All you got to do is abide in the righteousness of the word of the living God, and that condemns them because you doing what? You live in his word. His word going to show they wrong. And that means, guess where they going? This wrath, this plague, this man brewing up, that's going to fall on them. See, you're going to be protected. We're going to deal with that too. Come on back to Exodus 8. Look at Exodus 8. Exodus 8 and about verse 16. Give me 1 second, please. Exodus 8 and 16. He said, y'all said unto Moses, say unto Aaron, stretch out thy rod. Now we got to remember, I want y'all to see what his rod is. Hold what you got. Come on around here to Psalms 110. Y'all know what a rod is for? You know, usually in his instance it's a staff, but you know what the book say about a rod, right? Say if you spare the rod, you spoil the child. You know what I'm saying? That comes from the book. He was like, beat him. You know what I'm talking about? He said to use that rod, so we need to see who his rod is. Verse 2, Psalms 110 and 2. Make it verse 1. I know I'm mentioning this here because I seen somebody say this here, so y'all know this here. Y'all said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand till I make thy enemy thy footstool. Please don't think that he's talking to you. It ain't got nothing to do with you. He said, y'all shall send the rod of thy strength out of Zion, rule thou in the midst of thy enemies. So now we can see who this rod is. That same rod is this man he told to sit at his right hand. And he said that he will rule in the midst of his enemies. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, and the beauty of Kodeshness from the womb of the morning thou hast to do of thy youth. Listen to verse 5. We already know who that priest is. The Lord at thy right hand shall strike through kings in the day of his wrath. He shall judge among the heathen. He shall fill the places with dead bodies. He shall wound the heads over many countries. He shall drink of the brook in the way, therefore he lift up the head. So it sounds like this rod is going to come to bring forth wrath. He just said he's going to judge the heathen. And it's going to be a lot of dead people. You know what I'm talking about? And when we look at the first two seals we heard that what? People dying in it. Not only just people, but the animals and all. So we have to sit back and look at this. Come on back to Exodus 8. Verse 16 again. And say, and Yah said unto Moses, say unto Aaron, stretch out thy rod and smite the dust of the land, that it might become life throughout all the land of Egypt. And they did so. For Aaron stretched out his hand with his rod and smote the dust of the earth, and it became lice in man and in beast. All the dust of the land became lice throughout all the land of Egypt. And the magicians did so with their enchantments to bring forth lice, but they could not. So there were lice upon man and upon beast. Because you see what these people are trying to do with hope. Because we got to deal with this. You know what these magicians trying to do? They're trying to recreate God's power here, aren't they? That's what they're trying to do. They try to do it with the first plague, and they try to do it with the second plague then. See, come over here to Revelation 13. Let's see if we see a similitude of that. Are these magicians trying to do these things? So what would these magicians be similar? They'd be sorcerers, right? It would mean they witches, which means they would be a false prophet of some sort, so to speak. Because these would be the priests of the Egyptians. Revelation 13, about verse 11. He said, I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. So if he's speaking as a dragon, who he's speaking like? Huh? Y'all know who he's... Yeah, he's speaking like Satan. You know what I'm talking about? Because we got to look at what Satan did with Eve. He used fair speeches to deceive. Oh, what you got? Come on around here to Galatians 1. Because if he's speaking like a dragon, that means he's coming to deceive. Some of y'all got people around y'all speaking like a dragon. Y'all can't even people. Galatians 1 and about verse 6. He said, I marvel that you are not so soon removed from him that called you into the grace of the Messiah unto another gospel, which is not another, but there be some that trouble you and will pervert the gospel of the Messiah. But though we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed. As we said before, so say I now again. If any man preach any other gospel unto you than that you have received, let him be accursed. Come over here to Matthew 24. Because that's what the magicians were trying to do. Because if the magicians could have recreated what y'all was doing, don't you think that not only would have deceived the Egyptians, that some of our people could have been deceived with it? Look what the Lord tell you in Matthew 24. Matthew 24 and about verse 11. He says, and many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. And because of iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. So when we sit, come on down here to about verse 23. So when we sit back and look at the Lord telling you, it's a lot of people going to come up, they're going to deceive a lot of people. You know what I'm talking about? That's what the Egyptians were trying to do. They were trying to deceive. Let us bring up some lights. Let us turn the water to blood. You don't have the power to do it. But see, the Lord allowed Satan to give this man the power to do this. Because he said he's speaking as a dragon. He says, if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is the Messiah, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false messiahs and false prophets, listen what he says, which will show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, that they shall deceive the very elect. Now you heard what he said? Because that's what the magicians were trying to do. Y'all were showing signs and wonders in Egypt, right? They were trying to come and replicate them same signs and wonders. They weren't able to do it. Now he's sitting there telling you, there's some false prophets coming. They're going to show some signs and wonders. He said, if it were possible, it would even get the very chosen. Now you see how that means these going to be some major signs and wonders. That's why if you don't know the signs of the book, if you're not a Jew, and you don't know the signs that a Jew's supposed to look for, they're going to get you then, ain't they? They're going to get you. Listen what else he said. Behold, I told you before. He said, I done told you now. So that means you're going to be without excuse, didn't he? He said, I told you now. Look at John 8, just so you know now. He said, speak as a dragon. You alright, man? You ain't power up? That nap ain't power you up?
I told you, when I wrote the book, I was in sleep.
It looked like you was asleep because you had the mouth open sleep. Not just I'm not asleep, but you had this one on.
Yeah, man. What I told you, it wasn't been a nap. It would have been asleep.
You had this here going on. Like if somebody tap you and say, get up, I'm really offended at you right now.
Exactly.
And guess what? You're offended at the Lord. You ain't offended at me. I put that in your pipe and smoke.
No, I ain't offended at my pipe. Because somebody try to wake you up, you're going to be offended at. Yes, I'm definitely offended at you guys. You try to wake me up.
No, you're not offended at me. I want you to hear verse 43. Make it 42. Yahshua said unto him, if God were your father, you would love me. For I proceeded forth and came from God, neither came of myself, but he sent me. See, that's the whole key thing. See, a lot of people claim that Yah their father, but they don't love his son. They don't love him at all. Listen what he tells them. He said, why do you not understand my speech, even because you cannot hear my word? You wonder why people can't understand this here? Because they're not of God. You're going to see why. That's why the dragon going to get them. That's why he said if it was possible, he deceived the very elect. So if you're not a part of the elect, you're going to get deceived, didn't it? Because you didn't understand the word to begin with. He said, you of your father the devil, the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there's no truth in him. When he speak a lie, he speak of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. And we know we can go right back to that beginning where he sat there and murdered that woman with that lie he told. So now let's go back over here to Revelation 13 and we can see the similitude of it. We're in verse 12. We'll read verse 11 again. Now behold, another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. So if he had a lamb, you know what that means he's going to come doing. Come over here to Daniel 8. Let's show you what that means he's going to come doing. Because what lambs are? What's a word that you would use to describe a lamb? Anybody know a word you could use to describe a lamb? A word for describe a lamb would be docile. You know what I'm saying? Lambs are not very aggressive creatures, are they? You know what I'm talking about? And you know Yahshua came as a lamb. He showed that same similitude. He was humble, he was meek, he was docile. You know what I'm talking about? So guess what this man, this particular man gonna come up doing? He gonna come showing that similitude, but he gonna be telling lies like Satan, like the serpent. Daniel 8. Let's look at about verse 23. He said, in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. And his power shall be mighty, but not of his own. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper, and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and Kodesh people. And through his policy he shall also cause craft to prosper in his hand. He shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. But he shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. So he's going to be coming in peace. That's what the Lamb did. Because remember, Yahshua came in peace when he came the first time. Remember, he said, I didn't come to judge. I didn't come to bring wrath. Now it just says that this man is going to come up who's getting his power from Satan, and he's going to come peacefully. You know what I'm talking about? But the whole time, he's going to be working the works of the devil. That's what he just told you in Revelation 13 about this beast, isn't it? See, come on back over here to Revelation 13. Look at verse 12. He said, he exercised all power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he do great wonders, so that he made fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Anybody know who had fire come down from heaven? You know what prophet magnified that showed forth that sign? Do you know? Nobody knows? Who? Elijah indeed. Come on around to 2 Kings 1 so you can just catch where he did that. See what this man trying to replicate. Because what Satan do? Satan don't do nothing but try to copy and flip what the Lord do, don't. That's all he do. Because he ain't got no power of his own. So, 2 Kings chapter 1. Let's look at about verse 8. He said, they answered him. He was a hairy man, and girt with a girdle of leather about his loins. And he said, it's Elijah the Tishbite. Then the king sent unto him a captain of 50 with his 50, and he went up to him, and behold, he sat on top of a hill, and spake unto him, thou man of God, the king hath said, come down. And Elijah answered and said to the captain of 50, if I be a man of God, then let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. And there came down fire from heaven and consumed him and his 50. So anybody who done read this here or seen that, they see this man do that, they're going to be deceived by it then. Because they be like, it's got to be by the power of God he was able to bring fire down from heaven. You know what I'm talking about? Even Yahshua's disciples asked for him should they ask for fire to come down from heaven like Elijah, because people didn't go with him. And he told them, I not come to take men's lives, I came to save them. You know what I'm talking about? And that's how that's how this wicked man is going to come. He's going to come as if he's coming to save people, but yet he's coming to destroy them. And that's going to deceive many by these signs and wonders he's going to work. That's why, come over here to 1 Corinthians 1. First Corinthians 1, verse 22. That's all we need. Matter of fact, no, we'll look at verse 20. He said, where is the wise? And where is the scribe? Where is the disputer of this world? Have God made foolish the wisdom of this world? For after that, in the wisdom of God of the world by wisdom knew not God. It pleased God by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. For the Jews require a sign, and the Greeks seek after wisdom. But we preach the Messiah crucified unto the Jews a stumbling block, and unto the Greeks foolishness. See, that's what we dealing with this week, is this man suffering. And when we preach this man being killed to our own people, they stumble over it. They can't see him in the volume of the book. He's speaking to the Gentiles. They like, this is utter stupidity. You know what I'm talking about? See, we ain't talking about the simple stuff what they know. I know Jesus loves me so. The Bible tells me so. You know what I'm talking about? All that stuff people like to sing. They getting ready to do their sunrise service. We ain't talking about that simplicity of that right there. As you know, I was messing with him as he rightly got offended by some Easter eggs. These people around here hunting after eggs. What this got to do about the Lord? You know what I'm talking about? But when you actually go into detail to show forth this man's sufferings and what he came to do, that's foolishness to these people. And it's a stumbling block to our own. Because many can't see him. Like I told you, you got dudes out here going to went out here to pick up lambs. Actually at their residences roasting them. You know what I'm talking about? You remember when we sat down to Passover with the people, we got to have the bitter herbs. We don't need no bitter herbs no more. We don't need none of these things. All we truth be told, we needed was this bread and this wine and the spread. You know what I'm talking about? Whatever y'all made. We didn't need no bitter herbs. We ain't need no lamb. All we need is the bread, the wine, and what y'all cooked or what y'all brought. That's all we needed. And the word. You know what I'm talking about? But hey, when you do wrong, I guess go all the way out with it. He said, but unto them which are called, both Jews and Greeks, the Messiah, the power of God and the wisdom of God, because the foolishness of God is wiser than men, and the weaknesses of God is stronger than men. So we have to sit back and look at that. Because we know the Messiah according to the preaching, according to the teaching of the book, then we know the signs to look for that pertain to him. We won't get got by these things. So when these signs come to pass, or these plagues that come forth in the earth, then we ain't gonna be nervous. Because he told you these things, the beginning of sorrows, when you see earthquakes in diverse places, and you hear wars and rumors of war. I would say since about 2010, there's been earthquakes somewhere everywhere. You know how many earthquakes go on that they don't even report on the news? They had earthquakes in Oklahoma, earthquakes in Georgia, earthquakes in Tennessee. Yeah, these places on fault line, but you ain't never heard of, some of y'all ain't never heard of no earthquakes in these places in your lifetime. Chile probably been hit with at least 5 to 7 earthquakes in the last 3-4 years. I'm talking about major ones too. They just got hit with a 7.1 earthquake. A 7.1 earthquake hit Nicaragua. You know what I'm talking about? 6.9, 7.1. Them people ain't haggling over them 0.2. All they know, it was rocking and rolling over. Well, then I was chilling with the 7.1 then. You know what I'm talking about? Big old earthquake, man. You had that earthquake, what, over there in the Philippines that brought that, no, that was the typhoon. You know what I'm talking about? It was somewhere else that just had the tsunami thing looking for, because an earthquake struck around there. It was an earthquake in the Solomon Islands, if I'm not mistaken. Earthquakes everywhere. You got something going on in Yellowstone Park. I posted about a week ago. You know what I'm saying? I seen Pastor Smith say it's a super volcano up under there. You know what I'm talking about? I can't remember what state Yellowstone National Park. Ain't that in California? I don't really know either. I never had a desire to want to go to Yellowstone. I always know the name. Can't remember where it's at. But you know what I'm talking about? But you know how... Okay, it's in California. That's confirmed. So, that's real ugly. That's got a volcano up under there. You know what I'm talking about? So you know the time coming where y'all finna let that stuff spew out of there. And he gonna get these people. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, it's in Wyoming? Oh, it's in Wyoming. He just looked up. It's in Wyoming. I can't remember where it's at. Regardless of... it is. It's. I think it is a national park that's very famous. That's in California. Yeah, obviously. But nevertheless, you know what I'm talking about. But I just was seeing about that.
California.
That's where I thought it was at.
Nah, like I heard of it.
Oh, she heard. You heard.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't. I don't know.
California.
This nigga here. You don't talk about. Come on back to Revelation 13.
Where you go? Okay, flip. Okay.
What? In the Yellowstone?
I don't think we just saying.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Yosemite National Park. That's in California. That's what I was thinking about. So we in verse 14. We'll read 13 again. And he do great wonders. That's Yosemite National Park. That's in California. Yellowstone is in Wyoming. He do great wonders so that he make fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And he deceives them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword, and did live. So this is the whole key thing with this false prophet working these false miracles, is to get the people to serve the devil. You know what I'm talking about? So we already know that no prophet of Yah or no someone who's sent by Yah is going to have you go against this book. That's why Paul say let him be accursed, because that's what the serpent did in the beginning. He told lies to get you to go against what God told you to do. Well, this beast is going to come and he's going to be working false miracles and signs and wonders according to signs and wonders that are written in this book to get you to go against God's word. That's why we have to know the signs of what we're supposed to be looking for. Because Colin said they sat down and what Pastor Smith was talking about last night, and he said he touched on some of the things that we did, but then he went in a different direction on other things. You know what I'm talking about? But he said he said the same thing we mentioned last night. Jews look after signs. That's what we do. You know what I'm talking about? I just can't take something just because you told me that, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? I need to see that out of the book, bro. And I need 2 or 3 witnesses to establish that matter, or I cannot accept that. You know what I'm talking about? And you get a lot of people when you go to talking to some of these Israelites like that, like, look here, bro. I hear what you're saying, man. I hear what you're saying. I need book for that, though. And when you ask them, let me get book for that, 2, 3 witnesses to establish this matter, Old and New Testament perfectly. They can't produce it. Then they get upset with you when you tell them, I cannot accept that. Because we got to remember, we Jews, Acts 17 and 11, just so you know. Just so you know. Acts 17 and 11, just so you know. LaMuffin already know what to say, but for the rest of you, just so you know. Make it verse 10. And the brethren immediately sent away Paul and Silas by night unto Berea, who came thither and went into the synagogue of the Jews. And these were more noble than those in Thessalonica, and that they received the word with all readiness of mind, and searched the scriptures daily whether those things were so. That's the whole key thing. You just can't tell. And see, a lot of people get offended with you when you come at them like that, because you just can't tell me anything. You know what I'm talking about? When you look at our forefathers, what did they say when they were going off about the Messiah? They say, man, is the Messiah gonna come and do any of these things? That man say, man, look at the scriptures, man. The books say the Messiah come out of Bethlehem. He ain't from Bethlehem. You know what I'm talking about? They didn't know he was born there, but that's the first thing they say, man, the book say he ain't coming up out of Nazareth. You know what I'm saying? These people knew the book. They like, hold up, man. But then the other people sitting there thinking, what? Well, I don't know if nobody gonna come and do what he done came and did. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know about this one here. How many times did this man stand up and quote scriptures to these people, telling them stuff, telling them they're talking about me? Man told the people specifically search this book. This whole book talking about me. So as Jews, that's what we're supposed to do. There's no way that somebody should be able to come with a false sign and we fall for it. You know what I'm talking about? There's no way that should happen. If that happens, you know what that means or nothing. You weren't a Jew. You weren't a Jew. Because Jew ain't going to fall. You think a Jew going to fall after a false sign? You think you could just throw something to any Jew and he just going to go for it? But how many times you see on the internet dudes see stuff happening, they throw it up there and niggas take off running? You know what I'm talking about? And that's how niggas lose their credibility. I'll be honest with you. A mass majority of people, before they really got knee deep in the word, because most of these Israelite congregations talk about it, all they seen was the celebrities and the Illuminati stuff. But I guarantee you this here, when you begin to grow and mature with the word, and that's what you desire, you don't go to seeking after that stuff no more. You don't even go to watching that stuff. It ain't but so much stuff they can tell you. Oh, check out this symbolism in this video. If I seen it in one, I seen it in all. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't but so much satanic symbolism you can see. After a while, I don't even want to see it. You know what I'm talking about? I seen a dude talking about today, man, the movie Noah and all that. What I'm going to watch it for? I don't care about nothing that man got in that movie. I don't care nothing about none of this stuff they got in these music videos. Niggas talking about we exposing these artists. What you think they got? These niggas sinners. What niggas are fools. You know what I'm saying? The thing that these dudes got upset with Chingy. You know the thing that really, really grinds my gears most about Israelite dudes the most is they feel like they need a celebrity to validate this word. You know what I'm talking about? We don't need no Chingy. Who is Chingy anyway? Nigga had 1.5 hits, man. 1.5 hits, man. I can't even remember the half a hit, but everybody know the first one. Right there. That's it. What else did he have other than that? I ain't from St. Louis. You know what I'm talking about? But what else did he... Does anybody know any other song that Chingy had that was bigger than besides that one? And now these dudes see this man talk about some metaphysics, the 12 tribes, really about the zodiac signs and all this here. And they were like, Satan got him. But if he was committing sin, Satan already had him. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all need to understand and know just because you know you're an Israelite means absolutely nothing. That does not mean you in no truth. That does not mean that you saved. That does not mean that you delivered. You just know who you are. You know what I'm talking about? But is that going to bring forth from the rising of the sun to the going down of the same, that it be glory manifested to this man's name, and his name be great amongst these Gentiles? Does that mean you bringing a pure offering because you know you Israel? The people in the wilderness knew they were Israel too. Them people that screamed out, crucify him, give us Barabbas, they knew they were Israel too. But yet they didn't see the signs though. They didn't see the signs. This man worked signs and wonders with our forefathers. They still didn't believe. Same similitude came back with Yahshua. He worked signs and wonders and they still didn't believe. You see the same exact thing happen in the wilderness. Didn't he work signs and wonders for them before they came in the wilderness and in the wilderness? Didn't Yahshua come and work signs and wonders in front of the people? They still didn't believe. They still didn't believe. And then we know Yahshua's signs and wonders lined up with the book. Still didn't believe. Because that's all the signs and wonders y'all was working. We already know that. That manna coming from heaven was a sign and a wonder testifying of the sun. That water coming up out that rock was a sign and wonder testifying of the sun. You know what I'm talking about? We could go on for days. Come on back around here to Exodus 8 though. Yeah, we finished right there. We got to go back to Revelation, but not that particular chapter. We see what direction it goes. Everybody okay though right now? Everybody all right? Look about verse 20 of Exodus, the 8th chapter. He said, Yah said unto Moses, rise up early in the morning and stand before Pharaoh. Lo, he come forth to the water. Say unto him, thus saith Yah, let my people go, that they may serve me. Else if thou wilt not let my people go, behold, I will send swarm of flies upon thee, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, into thy houses. And the houses of the Egyptians shall be full of swarms of flies, and also the ground wherein they are. And I will sever in that day the land of Goshen, in which my people dwell, that no swarm of flies shall be there, to the end that thou may know that I am Yah in the midst of the earth. And I will put a division between my people and thy people. Tomorrow shall this sign be. So now we got to look at the key thing. Now he's just talking about, I'm going to bring flies upon these people. But he said, but where my people dwell, nothing will touch them. He said, I got to show forth a difference. Now, what's the word that showed forth? He said division. What's the word show forth? Because we already know, we just dealt with it. What did the Lord say? I didn't come to bring peace. I came to bring a division. Don't you think that line up with what is going on right now? Because does that sound like he's bringing the peace to these people? Does that sound like he's bringing peace to these people or what's coming upon them? He said, no, I got to show division. He said, that's a sign. Don't y'all know that when this man show forth that y'all walking in his word and you be separated from the people, ain't that showing a difference? I mean, that's showing codescence right there, set apart. That means you showing forth this scripture true then. Y'all think the master just told you, think not I came to bring peace, but division for nothing? You thought that just lined up with Michael? You ain't think it was another place that could line up with it? Because we need two witnesses, don't we? Even though Yahshua being one witness and Michael being another, that confirmed it, but it never hurts to have another. See, come on around here to 2 Corinthians 6. Y'all really need to sit back and know that, because Goshen is where his people dwell. That's the key thing that a lot of people don't want to do. You don't want to separate yourself from the world and worldly people. You still want to fool with them and meddle with them. Second Corinthians 6 and 14. We're just going to steal that. Maybe I just want to turn and look at it from time to time.
You don't have to turn now.
Rats. 2 Corinthians 6 and 14. He said, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness, or what communion have light with darkness? That's what went on in Egypt. He said, my people don't have no communion with y'all. That's why I got to bring these swarm of flies on y'all. He said, what concord had the Messiah with Belial, or what part had he believed with an infidel? You seen in Goshen, that's where Israel was at. They didn't have parts with no idolaters. And you got to ask yourself why you got parts with idolaters. Why you got parts with unbelievers. Listen to what he said one more time. And what agreement have the temple of God with idols? For you are the temple of the living God, as God has said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Wherefore come out from among them and be ye separate, saith Yah, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. That's what he was pretty much telling Pharaoh, right? For our people to come up from amongst these people. I got to bring them out. And we already know that signifies him bringing us up out of sin. Up out of sin and idolatry, because that's what we were doing in Egypt. Committing sin and walking in idolatry. He said, I got to bring you up from up out of there. So knowing that this man done came forth to be your Passover, to bring you up from up out of there, and you still fooling with that, that shows that you are an idiot. An idiot of the worst kind. I thought that was for stinkers. You still a stinky food, boy. No, I know that. I already know they was wrong. But you think this time for eating? Should have ate when everybody else ate.
I'm sorry, I already ate.
Should have ate again.
I did. Now.
Come on around here to the book of Revelation before I cut me somebody.
No, cut.
I ain't got my knife yet.
Yeah.
I'm finna go get it. I'm finna go get it. And when I do, you ain't gonna like it. I want you to look at verse 13 of the 8th chapter of Revelation 8. Because he said when the swarm of flies come in, we're gonna be ugly. Well, this is just not meant for that to say. He said, behold, and he said, and I beheld, pardon me, and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven saying with a loud voice, woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the 3 angels which were yet to sound. So he's saying destruction, destruction, destruction of those that are dwelling on the earth. You ain't even seen nothing yet. And we done sat there and looked, that 3 trumpets done already sounded. Now we ain't read all the plagues, but we done went through what? At least 2 plagues already that we didn't mention the frogs. You know what I'm talking about? So now we done seen 3 plagues on Egypt end being sounded, 3 being sounded over here. They ain't even seen nothing yet. Because Egypt hadn't even seen nothing yet. So you know you ain't seen nothing yet. Verse 1 of this here. He said, and the 5th angel sounded. Well, actually, 4th angel done sounded, because we ain't read what's in that 4th one. We'll get to that in a minute. And the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key to the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there rose smoke out of the pit. And as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. Anybody know what a scorpion do? You know what scorpions do or not? Yes, they do sting you. You know, their little tail, they sting you. And if I'm not mistaken, that sting can be quite paralyzing. Not paralyzing as far as it turns you into paralysis.
I mean, that's what paralyzation means.
No, when I said quite paralyzing, meaning very numbing, very painful. You know what I'm talking about? Not like complete and utter paralysis.
Mm-hmm. Very just like a sting. Steve-O and his crew.
Steve-O and his crew? Who is Steve-O?
You know.
Oh.
Steve-O, Vito LeBam.
Oh, you talking about the guys that like to stick stuff in their bum.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? But I mean, you've heard that in football. What a paralyzing hit! This means it was very, very painful. This one.
No. You said paralyzing hit. I mean, you might end up paralyzed.
Not all the time. He said, and it was commanded they should not. Listen to what he said. This is what we came here for. We're touching 2-fold things. It was commanded him that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. Now you sit there and look at this here. Now he just sat back to these locusts, right? Now we're going to touch back to these locusts. But he said that this should not happen to anybody that is not sealed. I mean that is sealed. You know what I'm talking about? So now we need to go to Ezekiel 9. You should see why. Go ahead. Jeff, you could look at it in them terms, but in this instance here, what we're dealing with right now, we talking about literal trees. Because we're going to sit back and look at that there, because we already know in the instance what you talking about, not hurting the grass or any green tree, because any green tree would be bearing what the green trees do, they bring forth fruit. You know what I'm saying? And that's why that ties into being sealed. That's why we just didn't reference that part. We could take that in a different direction at another time. Ezekiel 9, look at verse 1. Mm-hmm. He also cried in my ears with a loud voice, saying, cause them that have charge over the city to draw near, even every man with a destroying weapon in his hand. And behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate, which lie toward the north, every man a slaughter weapon in his hand. One among them was clothed with linen, with a writer's inkhorn by his side, and they went in and stood beside the brazen altar. Now, when we go through these 7 angels, what happens when that 7th angel blow his trumpet? Because we just dealt with this here when we dealt with Jericho and they 7 trumpet. Who come on the 7th trumpet, though, the Lord come. You see the correlation of this here about it's 6 angels that blow. That 7th angel blow, the Lord come. But you see it's 6 angels bringing wrath. And what you read out here in Ezekiel 9. 6 men come. All of them got a slaughter weapon in their hand. Don't you see that then when they blowing them trumpets, they got a slaughter weapon in their hand? Okay then.
See, slaughter weapon, that's a new word for it.
Slaughter?
Slaughter weapon, that's a new word.
Yes, sir, that's what it says. Slaughter weapon in his hand. Look at what we say now, verse 3. And the glory of the God of Israel was gone up from the cherub, whereupon he was, to the threshold of the house. And he called to the men clothed with linen, which had a writer's inkhorn by his side. And Yah said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry, for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Now what did we just deal with that pertain to that? He said, all the men that mourn and sigh for the things that they see. He said, put a mark in their head. What that dealt with, what we just dealt with? You just dealt with this a couple weeks ago. Might have not even been there. I think it was 2 weeks ago. I think that's one of the first things we dealt with when we came back from Georgia. What did he say? Mourn, that you might be comforted. Because if you see the thing that's going on in the earth, it should bother you, shouldn't it? Like, see, come over here to 1 Peter. Oh, pardon me. I might be 2 Peter. I think that's what it is. See, a lot of y'all see stuff, it don't even vex y'all. It don't even bother you. That's why he said you worthy of death, because you take pleasure in it. 2 Peter 2 and 7. Matter of fact, make it verse 5. Make it verse 4. 2 Peter 2 and 4. But I all cutting you in. They had a little Gentile children get scared during Halloween time. They hear stuff like that, they go to run. Yeah, they go to hear that. There's ghosts in here, mommy. Somebody slapped this boy. Ain't no ghosts in here. You know what I'm talking about? He said, if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved under judgment, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the 8th person or preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly. And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them for an overthrow, making them an example unto those that should live ungodly. So now we can sit back and look at that Sodom and Gomorrah was a similitude of sinners going to hell. That's what that was showing, because they was burned with what? Fire and brimstone. He's saying, delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy behavior of the wicked. For that righteous man dwelling among them, and seeing and hearing, vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. So you see what it said? He was mourning. He was vexed to see this stuff these people were doing. Could you imagine this here? You got people talking about how was Lot righteous? He slept with his daughter. But number 1, he was drunk. Number 2, he wasn't conscious. You know what I'm talking about? So guess what that means? Lord didn't hold that to his charge. Because as far as his daughters were concerned, they thought every man on earth was dead. That's what they're thinking. They didn't lay with their daddy out of any lust or anything of that nature. In their mind, after what they just seen, they thought there was no person left upon the face of the earth breathing. And probably put yourself in their place, and at that time you probably would have thought the same thing, seeing such a sign and wonder as that. You know what I'm talking about? A whole group of people being vaporized on the spot right before your face. You're going to be like this here. Oh my, that's what's going to happen to you when the Lord comes back. Same thing. You already know what it is, little muff. Look on up there to the sky above and the earth beneath. Because the sky going to vanish away like smoke, and the earth going to wax old like a garment, and everyone in like manner shall perish. And these people ain't looking for that. So you know, that's a sign for us. We're going to look up and we're going to know. When we see the heavens vanish away like smoke, we already know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? But you got to say, there's a reason why I always told y'all to look up to the sky and look down, so that sign would be implanted in your mind then. We used to start whatever we're doing. I want you to look out the window. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's a sign for us. We know full well. When we see the heavens vanish away like smoke, boy, it's going down. You know why we need to know that? Come over here to Joel 3. We come back to Ezekiel 9. This is why you need to know that. See, these plagues shouldn't get you scared. If you're scared of these plagues, you know what that means. You ain't right. You know what I'm talking about? So you know what that means? You need to get right. Joel 3.
That too.
Thought I said 3. Joel 3. About verse, let's just get on to the point. About verse 15. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Yah shall also roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem. The heavens and the earth shall shake, but Yah will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. So those who born of Yahshua, those who the true children of Israel, that's going to be their hope. They strength or they faith and they trust in Yah going to be their hope. They're not going to be fearful when they see these things. They know these things must need be. So when we look at what John said in Revelation, he said, Lord, he said, behold, I come quickly. He said, even so, Lord Yahshua, come. You know what I'm talking about? See, you could be that bold and confident to say something like that when you know you on the right side of the election. You know what I'm talking about? Because you can be like this here, Lord, please come. I can't take it no more. You know what I'm talking about? It's a lot of stuff y'all see, it don't bother you. You know what I'm talking about? It's certain things, man, that's why I look at force all the time. Man, I look at First 48, I just be like, good grief, these niggas is ill. You know what I'm talking about? Setting people on fire. Like it's just what, like these niggas going hard about this sex tape, just going crazy. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all like y'all ain't never seen nobody have sex before.
Straight up.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay, she's getting that, she's having sex. They're steady putting pictures up about something with a shower rod.
Boy.
You know what I'm talking about? Now all you niggas want to go get shower rod because a wicked woman done went and got one. You done went from that. I didn't even know that. I figured that surfboard song had something to do with fornication. You know what I'm talking about? Because I ain't never heard it. And then he said they went from shower surfboards to shower. That's all they want to do. You want to follow wicked people. You delight in that. When I see that type of stuff, you already know. I don't like Beyonce whatsoever. And not because I have a problem with her personally, because she's a whore.
That's pretty much my personal.
Now, it's not because she's personal. I'm talking about her music is whorish. Remember, I told you many times, you can be a whore and not sleep with a whole bunch of people, can you?
That's pretty much my personal.
It's not personal, so I don't know her personally to dislike her. But I dislike what you stand for. I dislike the things that you promote.
That's pretty much.
That's not personal. You know what I'm talking about? That's not personal. I don't know that woman to say, I don't like you, Beyonce. I don't know her. But the music that she makes, like on a natural level, she could be very cool people. You know what I'm talking about? She could be very cool people. There's some natural people out here that I know that are cool people. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't gonna hang with you though, but you cool. You know, you alright. You know what I'm talking about? I can have a conversation with you in passing. You might can make me chuckle. But Beyonce could be cool people. But the music she makes, she's teaching young girls to be whores. You know what I'm talking about? I do not like that. That agitates me greatly. That's not cool. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no delight in that.
You know, I want to have a conversation with.
Look, I can sit down and talk with anybody.
Why should make you chuckle with this and teach our daughter how to be whore?
You know what I'm talking about? Hey, man, we're not talking about this period, man. There's a lot of sinners out here that get a chuckle up at you.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They ain't got no, it's not like I'm gonna be sitting around here, look here, woman, that song you made. I don't really want to hold a conversation with her, period. But that's me, man. But she could be cool people. For what? What we have in common? Eventually that word gonna come and that woman gonna say security. Next thing you know, I'm gonna be like that white boy with John Kerry. Don't tase me, bro. Don't tase me, bro. And now I'm hit with a taser. Now I'm on TV. Come on back around here in a second, Peter 2.
Bum it, huh?
Huh?
Bum it?
No, that's my hip.
Bum? You been want something to your bum? Maybe it?
No.
Then white boy? What's going on, man?
On your hip? Really? On the hip? Well, if you weigh around up, boy, you got a problem. You might just be ruined. Straight up. Verse 9, though. Verse 8 again. For that righteous man dwelling among them, seeing and hearing vexed with his righteous soul from day to day with an unlawful deed. Look what he say. For the Lord know how to deliver the godly out of temptations and reserve the unjust until the day of judgment to be punished. But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise government or despise authority, presumptuous and self-willed, they're not afraid to speak evil of dignities. Now this is going to make sense in a minute. Sinners ain't afraid to speak against the Lord. Because Pharaoh was talking trash too. When they say, Yah say, let my people go, you know what Pharaoh had a nerve to say? Who is Yah? I don't know who that is. Man, send a nigga back to work. No, y'all, you know he said that. Come on back here to Exodus. Fine, that make sure we get that on. Yeah, that nigga said it. He was bold with that. He that bold to say it. Say, who is y'all? I don't know who that is. They'll send a nigga back to work. Exodus 5, verse 1. He said, and afterward Moses and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, thus saith Yah, God of Israel, let my people go, that they may hold a feast unto me in the wilderness. Pharaoh said, who is Yah, that I should obey his voice and let Israel go? I know not Yah, neither will I let Israel go. Like they said, well, who is Yah? I don't know who that is. Guess what these people, what these sinners is? They don't know God either. They don't want to let you go from them either. Huh? You think these sinners want to let you get free from them? You think they want you to break away from them? What does sinner try to do? Pull you back, don't it? Entice you. See, look at Proverbs 1. See, some of y'all get enticed by some sinners, but they like to say, I don't know who y'all is. Who y'all is? I don't know who that is. Proverbs 1 and 10. He said, my son, if sinners entice thee, consent thee thou not. If they say, come with us, let us lay wait for blood. Let us lurk privily for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave, and whole as they that go down in the pit. We shall find all precious substance. We shall fill our houses with spoil. Cast in thy lot among us, and let us have one purse. He said, my son, walk not thou in the way with them. Refrain thy foot from their path. For their feet run to evil, and they make haste to shed blood. Surely in vain is the net is spread in the sight of my birds. And they lay wait for their own blood. They lurk privily for their own lives. He says, so are the ways of everyone that's greedy of gain, which take away the life of the owners thereof. Because that's what happened with Pharaoh. He was greedy of gain. You want to see how he was greedy of gain? Come on back over here to the 5th chapter of the book of Exodus. Look what he said in verse 3. And they said, the God of the Hebrews hath met with us. Let us go, we pray thee, 3 days' journey into the desert, and sacrifice unto Yah God, lest he fall upon us with pestilence or with the sword. And that's what we're looking at now, ain't it? Because right now you're talking about falling upon these people with disease or with the sword. Because he was saying we need to leave to go sacrifice this feast with this man, lest this man kill us. You know what I'm talking about? And we don't sit back and look at it. You not coming knowing that we keeping the feast of unleavened bread under our God. You ain't seeking to keep the feast with sincerity and truth and the bread of unleavened, as Paul wrote in 1 Corinthians, and this man gonna let pestilence and the sword fall on you. You know what I'm talking about? He gonna let, come on around here to 1 Corinthians 5 so you can see it yourself. We coming back to Ezekiel 9, Lord, bro. We got to deal with that mark. It all makes sense in a minute. Well, you crashed that, boy. I'm talking about crash that.
What are you talking?
Hey, I'm a known crasher. I'm a known crasher. Yeah. I've been eating fast since 1985. Boy. Know that. Respect that. Knowledge. It's 10 o'clock. 1 Corinthians 5 and 7. Actually, verse 8. He said, therefore let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. You know what I'm talking about? So that's what he's sitting there telling, because they talking about we need to go keep a feast with God. Now we know Yahshua is our sacrifice. That's our Passover. They said we need to go keep this feast with our God. And he said it's a 3-day journey too. It's a 3-day journey. We already know what them 3 days signify. Because he said it's 3 days in the desert. You know desert is a waist cramp.
Hips.
That's what you get for talking about mine. You say 3-day wait in the desert. Desert is a wasteland, ain't it? You know what I'm talking about? And we know the grave can be considered a wasteland. He said we need a 3-day journey because we need to sacrifice. He said if we don't, the pestilence gonna fall on us. Sword gonna fall on us. So we got to sit back and look at it. We need to be keeping the feast of unleavened bread that we just read continually and offering ourselves as a sacrifice so the pestilence and the sword don't fall on us. Because we just read this man say he know how to get this ungodly with judgment. As he flooded them out, burned Sodom and Gomorrah, the man said, I know how to come get you, man. I know how to come get you. But look what Pharaoh said about these people. Verse 6. Well, verse 5 actually. Matter of fact, look at verse 4 because he's talking real Greek. And the king of Egypt said unto them, Wherefore do ye Moses and Aaron let the people from their works? Get ye under your burdens. And Pharaoh said, Behold, the people of the land now are many, and you make them rest from their burdens. Pharaoh commanded the same day the taskmaster of the people and their officers, saying, You shall give the people straw to make brick, as hereto. Let them go and gather straw for themselves. And the tale of the bricks, when they did make hereto, you shall lay upon them. You shall not diminish aught thereof, for they be idle. Therefore they cry, saying, Let us go and sacrifice to our God. Let more work be laid upon the men, that they may labor therein, and let them not regard vain words. So this is that's the same thing you read in the Proverbs. He tell you, man, don't mess with these people, because they want stuff, they greedy gain from others. But did you catch something right here? I want to see, did you catch something? Look at verse 5, what Pharaoh said. He said, Behold, the people are many of the land, and you make them rest from their burdens. Who you think he's talking about making them rest from? What did Yahshua tell you in Matthew 11? What did he tell you? Huh? You remember he said, Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I'll give you rest. You know what I'm talking about? That's the same thing, ain't it? You making these people rest from their burdens. Yahshua came to tell you the same thing that Pharaoh was telling them. Hey man, you making these people rest from their burdens. Now we have to sit back and look at this. With Yahshua being our sacrifice, being our Passover, wasn't he coming to make us rest from our burdens? From the heavy bondage which we've been serving through sin? It's the same thing, ain't it? Because that's what we were dealing with. We were dealing with heavy bondage through sin, heavy workload. He came to remove that workload. You know what I'm talking about? That's why you say my yoke is easy, my yoke light. My body, you know what I'm saying? My burdens is light. The work I'm asking you to do is light. We know what John told you. Because this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments. His commandments are not grievous. His commandments are not a hard thing. That's why Paul says it's simplicity in the Messiah. How many times have we seen people try to make this thing way more difficult than what it is? Now that you done got a little bit of understanding, do you see this thing is not difficult as people make it to be? The only thing it is just being able to have the ability to see when the pieces of the puzzle are put together. That's it. But this thing ain't that difficult. Come on back here to Ezekiel 9, though. What you say? Yes, it was. Instead of breadcrumbs, it was unleavened bread. Did you taste it? No, you did not. I was aware.
You taste breadcrumbs in it?
Huh?
You taste breadcrumbs on other meatloaf?
Yes, I have.
And
I tasted bread in meatloaf.
when you cook it right, you can't taste it.
Now, sometimes people don't have enough meat to bread ratio.
Exactly, cooking right. You know what I just said?
No.
That's what I just said.
That doesn't necessarily mean you cooked it right.
Yeah, that's good. What's up with the how come I ain't getting no
Ezekiel 9
suitcase?
is also for strength.
All of them? No.
Ezekiel 9 and about verse 4 again. He said, Yah said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And to the others he said in my hearing, Go ye after them through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly. Hold on. I gotta get that song out of my head. Slay ye utterly, old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. So you can see the same thing that he told them angels then, didn't he? He told them, don't touch nobody got my mark, right? Because we got to have a similitude of that. So guess what that means? Oh, that's unfortunate. So guess what that means? You don't have that mark. Them death angels coming for you. And guess what that means? That's going right back to Passover. Because that would be the mark of God right there, to have a spirit upon you through faith in your Passover, in your sacrifice, in the Lamb of God, which takes sin away from the world. Because the men who had this mark, they sided the abominations. If they were signed at the abominations, that means they weren't committing the word. Look what he said about them, though. Verse 7. He said unto them, Defile the house and fill the courts with the slain. Go ye forth. And they went forth and slew in the city. Come on around here to 1 Corinthians 3. He said, go ahead and defile the house. See, this is what happened when you defile the house. We done touched on it before. Look what he tell you, though. This should resonate in your brain. This should put something in your heart, make you feel something about yourself. Verse 16 of the 3rd chapter of 1 Corinthians. He said, know ye not that you are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwell in you? If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy. For the temple of God is Kodesh, which temple ye are. He said, since you done defiled my house, he said, go ahead and fill it up with dead bodies here. Just go ahead and fill it up with dead bodies. So you guess what that means? I'm going to get you out of here. Come on back to Ezekiel 9. He said, it came to pass while they were slaying them, and I was left, that I fell upon my face and cried and said, Ah, Yah, wilt thou destroy the residue of Israel, and thou pouring out of thy fury upon Jerusalem? I remember I read this one of the Nail God songs. I think the oldest one. Because it was Memorial Blowing the Trumpet, 2012. He sat in there, man, and he didn't pay attention to that night. I said, well, what did you learn? He sat there and looked at me stupid. I said, you weren't paying attention to nothing we just went through. And I read, I said, you know God killed children too. And when he read it, you know what he went to do? Boo-hoo crying. You know what I'm talking about? Because how many of these people going to stand up in front of these people and tell them, yeah, God killed your children too? Because what we just read right here. Look what he told them to do. Slay utterly old and young. So that means, God forbid, because we know ain't nobody living sour around this way. That means if you were living sour enough, the Lord would send an angel and say, man, go ahead and kill Elizabeth. Go and kill Leah too. You know what I'm talking about? On Brittany, ain't go and kill your twins. He said young and old. And he said don't spare and don't have no pity. Because we know the iniquity of the fathers can visit the children, didn't it? He said, I put it right in your bosom. Look what he said. Now utterly young and old, both maids and little children. And little children. Now you got to sit back and look at that. That's serious. That's serious. But see, they don't know God. So they would say, why would he do that? Shoot, why wouldn't he do it? Man told you, if the trumpet be blown in the city, shall it not be heard? You know what I'm talking about? When these trumpets are being blown and these vials being coming out, you ain't heard? You know what I'm talking about? So when his wrath come on, now you sitting there talking about why is he doing it? Oh, you know why he was doing it. You know the whole time. Come on back to Revelation 9. You see, people don't want to deal with that type of stuff do a little more. They don't want to hear that. He wouldn't kill no children. You was alive from hell. You know what I'm talking about? Matter of fact, look at 2 Kings, the 4th chapter. I'll show you where he killed children right off the rip. For them talking against one of his prophets. I read in that there too. He went to crying even the more. I said, don't cry now, nigga. Chapter 4. No, that is chapter 4. Where is it? It was in chapter 3. Chapter 2 it is. Chapter 2 what I wanted. Chapter 2 and about verse 23. 2 Kings 2 and 23. And he went up from thence unto Bethel. And as he was going up by the way, there came forth little children out of the city and mocked him. And said, go up, thou bald head. Go up, thou bald head. How you know them black children? Because only black children would get up in a group and mock a grown man. Not like our children do. You know what I'm talking about? Not to say that white children don't do it, but black children bold to sit up in a group and mock a grown man. I guarantee you. You know what I'm talking about? I guarantee you we could walk in any black neighborhood in America and we could find a group of children that have enough nerve to mock a grown man. I'm talking about because they did it with boldness too. We can't walk too many white neighborhoods where there's a whole bunch of kids piled up mocking grown men. Number one, they don't hang out in the street.
Go to their schools though.
I ain't even talking about no. They ain't in school. They in the street. This man is walking from. He coming back from. He walking to Bethel. He coming back after Elijah got took up. He said he turned back and looked on them and cursed them in the name of Yah. And there came forth 2 she-bears out of the wood and tear 42 children of them. And he went from thence to Carmel, and from thence he returned to Samaria. Looked like 42. That's a lot of children.
Boy.
So if 42 of them got took out, how many were there? That's how I say you know that black children. 42 of them young niggas died that day. Running their mouth. They say now we have to sit back and look at that on the reverse side. You've got to be careful what you say out your mouth, because you can say stuff out your mouth get you in trouble with the Lord now. You know what I'm talking about?
But at the same time, you can say a wet black kid, because one black, me being a black kid, I see one black kid get mauled, I'm running.
Yeah, they could have ran, but guess what though? These 2 bears coming straight from y'all, you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
You ain't going nowhere. These bears gonna get you, boy. Come here, and this ain't them she bears. I don't know no she bear characters, so we'll leave that alone. No, it's right. We had to go touch because we just read about these locusts. Let's look at these locusts. Come on back to Exodus. We got to look at these locusts. But these locusts going to come differently. How when we was in Jordan, Pastor Smith put it out is that to them in Revelation, them locusts could have been what we see as drones today. You know what I'm talking about? Because you know they wouldn't have had no descriptive means in their time to be able to describe something like that. You know what I'm talking about? A lot of because we know full well when you describing locusts stinging like scorpions, you know locusts don't do no stinging. But we see these people dropping missiles on people everywhere. And, you know they got drones. It's legal all in America. Y'all know that. See what it is with these. I want you to go back and look at the 8th chapter. This is the 8th chapter. Anything I wanted? Not with them flies. Come on back to 9. Let me see this here. Oh yeah, let's look at the boils. We'll work our way to the locusts in a minute. Y'all just bear with me. 9, verse 3. Chapter 9 and verse 3 of the book of Exodus. Behold, the hand of Yah is upon thy cattle, which is in the field, and upon the horses, and upon the asses, and upon the camels, and upon the oxen, and upon the sheep. And there shall be a grievous murrain. And Yah shall sever between the cattle of Israel and the cattle of Egypt, that there nothing die of all that is the children of Israel. You got to sit back and look at that's going the same thing with that mark. Nothing is going to die that pertain to Israel. Because remember, we know the children of Israel, those that are born of Yahshua. There's nothing going to perish in those that belong to them. But sinners, they're going to lose everything they got. He's saying, Yah appointed a set time, saying, tomorrow Yah shall do this thing in the land. And Yah did that thing on the morrow, and all the cattle of Egypt died, but the cattle of the children of Israel died not one. Pharaoh said, and behold, that there was not one of the cattle of the Israelites dead. The heart of Pharaoh was hard, and he did not let the people go. And Yah said unto Moses and unto Aaron, take ye handful of ashes of the furnace, and let Moses sprinkle it towards the heaven in the sight of Pharaoh, and it shall become small dust in the land of Egypt, and shall be a boil breaking forth with flames upon men and upon beasts, and all the land of Egypt. And they took the ashes of the furnace and stood before Pharaoh, and Moses sprinkled it up towards heaven, and it became a boil breaking forth with flames upon men and upon the beasts. And the magicians could not stand before Moses because of the boils, for the boils was upon the Egyptians, the magicians, and upon all the Egyptians. So now we see these people covered with boils. You know what I'm saying? You know what a boil is? You know what a boil is? A bubble of pus. Remember, Job got hit with boils. You know what I'm talking about? You get with boils, you need something to scratch it, because they're gonna itch. They're ungodly, they're unsightly for one. You see somebody with some boils, you don't want them around them, because like I say, it's just a big old bubble of pus. It's a big old sweat. It's just disgusting to see. You know what I'm talking about? Come on back to the book of Revelation. Okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, the only thing that y'all could be akin to seeing I could describe off the top of my head that we could be akin to a boil is a rising. Y'all don't know what a rising is. Any of y'all? I've had one, and I had one on my inner thigh, and it hurt like nobody's business. But it's basically go ahead. Yeah. I think mine went away because I had it it was about 10 years ago I had it. But it would be like a big old bump, and it's basically blood. Basically, just like you said, it's a big old bump. You know what I'm talking about? It's very painful. And they say that that's the impurities in your blood, your body pushing them out. But it's akin to what he's talking about being smited with a boil. And like she said she still got a scar from hers. I had mine right on the inner thigh. It hurt to walk. I done seen people have it on their neck. You know what I'm talking about? And then they be squeezing the blood out. And boy, the blood just smells grotesque. You know what I'm talking about? But nevertheless. A keloid, all I know is that keloid is things that be on the back of people's ears that look like a big old titty. Yeah. Revelation 16:1 though. But yeah. I don't know whether that's what this is on my chest when I got shot with that pellet gun. It's not as big as it was, but that's a keloid. Well, the pellet was still there. I don't know if some of y'all noticed here, but it's not as big as it was when it happened.
No, it's like something like their skin or something on here, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And then like even as well, like they can't get earrings because
They got them keloid. But that's what keloid is. Basically a skin infection. You know what I'm saying? Didn't heal right. But what happened with me for mine, we were playing with my apartments. We used to play baseball. And the white dude used to didn't like the fact that the tennis balls would go in his yard. And sometimes some of my homeboys would jump his fence to go get his yard, to get the balls out of his yard. And the problem was that he was a redneck and he was racist. And you know what I'm talking about? Sometimes he used to slide his double-barrel shotgun through his fence and be pointing at us. And for a very long period, he was shooting at us with a pellet gun, and we never really realized it. Then one day, one shot through, I seen the little jet. Well, I was about 4 or 5 years old now. I seen one whiz right past his head, and it hit the glass, hit a window. Because you know what Mayfair, what a laundromat was. Oh, you remember nothing when Mayfair door. You remember what our apartment was? Right in the back. That's where we used to play baseball. That's where the laundromat was. Right in the back. That big old field back there. You know what I'm talking about? And the next thing I know, I got hit in my chest. Ah! I didn't really make no noise, but it bled for so long. You know what I'm talking about? It never stopped bleeding. My mom ain't take me to the hospital or nothing. I was highly upset about that. You know what I'm talking about? Not going to the hospital, but about this man shooting me. You know what I'm talking about? So I go to all my homeboys. I'm like, boy, let me get your BB gun, man. Like straight up. Because I'm finna go up here, climb on top of his fence, and just let it loose. You know what I'm talking about? I was upset about that. Ain't nobody want to give me none. So I picked up as many rocks as I possibly could, and I chunked them at his house. You know what I'm talking about? And all I heard was, Daddy! I hit a dart in the head with a rock. I was satisfied. Straight up. I was satisfied. I was satisfied. I wanted vengeance that day. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. I don't get angry too often. Y'all hear me? But I wanted vengeance that day. I was satisfied. I wanted some vengeance. You know what I'm talking about? Thank the Lord, I was probably about, maybe about 14, 15 years old. Ain't nobody want to give it to me because, truth be told, if somebody would have gave me a gun or something, I probably went to prison. Because I might have shot little buddy. Shot the whole house up. Because I was upset about that. I'm talking about, and my mama ain't do nothing. Only person with my auntie, mom, dude, like this here, I'm like, do you not understand this man just shot your only son? You don't understand this? This man just shot me, man. Like straight up. Oh, hey, Phil, you can call in too, man, if you want to. Hey, I was upset by that. But nevertheless, look at Revelation 16:1. He said, I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of wrath of God upon the earth. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome, grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship his image. And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and it became as blood of a dead man, and every living soul in the sea died. And the third angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and the rivers and fountains of waters, and they became blood. And I heard the angel of the waters say, Thou art righteous, O Yah, which art and was and shall be, because thou hast judged thus. For they have shed the blood of saints and prophets, and thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy. And I heard another out of the altar say, Even so, Yah Elohim Almighty, true and righteous are thy judgment. Now, we've already seen already. There's 2 times that man that made that water turn to blood now. But you see how he hit them people with a grievous sword. And he say it's good for y'all to drink this blood because y'all been slaying the saints and the prophets, right? See, come on around here to Jeremiah 51. See, these people don't sit there and look at this. This man is coming to see these people. That's why he told you come out from amongst them, yes, you be partakers of their plagues. Because the same plagues that hit Egypt is going to hit Babylon, which is basically the whole world. Whoever God's enemies are. You know what I'm talking about? We don't have to be like, oh, Babylon is America. Babylon is this here. You go against God's word, you Babylon, because you got to be confused. Jeremiah 51. Make it verse 48. He says, Then the heaven and earth and all that is therein shall sing for Babylon. For the spoil shall come unto her from the north, saith Yah. And as Babylon is called the slain of Israel to fall, so at Babylon shall fall the slain of all the earth. Sound like to me, since y'all wanted to kill my people, I'm going to kill some of y'all. I got to give you back what you earned. Remember, that's what the law say, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, right? He said, if you slave men by who were made in the image of God, I'm going to kill you too. It's only right, ain't it? It's only right. Come on back to Exodus. We ain't know what near complete what I want to go to, but I don't want to stay up all night. It's 10:20. We might keep right up till 4 o'clock in the morning. What you say, little mama? We ain't gonna let him go to bed.
If you learn.
You go to bed and you out of the family.
You gonna be out of family.
That's what you think. Well, that's what you think.
I put you.
You can't put me out. Well, what's wrong with your quarter?
I ain't gonna put you out. I'm calling the law. You letting work me put you out.
I'm gonna say you can't here. I've been staying here for 3 months. By law, I can't leave.
Bold face on, you gonna be on your way to hell.
You know what I'm talking about? I say, hey, I've been living here. Verse 13 of Revelation, Exodus 9.
You gonna have to see the lease. You know the names on the lease?
Yeah. You don't have to be on the lease. All you gotta do is say.
Yes, you do.
All you gotta do is have the name with. All you gotta do is have mail with your name in. Mail with the address on it. That's all you gotta have. Better learn the laws of the state.
Name on the lease.
Your name don't have to be on the list. And
Put you out.
no, and all seriousness, all to the side. If an individual can show forth that they have mail coming to an address.
All right, but niggas got mail coming here who stayed here previously.
Yeah, I
they still live here.
I understand that. But if an individual was in a domicile, in a dwelling place, and you were trying to remove them, now I mean your situation is different. Let's say you had somebody who you let stay there. Their name wasn't on the lease, you just let them stay with you. And now you done got to the point where you say, nigga, you must leave. You know what I'm saying? But if they have mail coming there with their name on it,
they gotta go.
No, by law, the police can't make them leave.
Yes, they can.
All right, you keep thinking that.
I'm dead because first of all, unless they got if I just let them stay there off general principle, not charging them rent, they gotta go.
No, by law, you can't put them out.
If they're not paying rent, they have to go. That's law.
You better research them. Tell you that.
You better research.
All right.
I see them all the time on Judge Mathis, on Judge Judy.
Okay, I'm talking about the state of Florida. Screw Judge Mathis, Judge Judy.
What you mean? They're going up for money matters.
But guess what though?
I will put you out.
Guess what though? The laws that's in Missouri ain't the same laws that's in Florida. The same laws that's in Michigan ain't the same laws that's in New York City. All 50 states have their own law. You know about Negro please. All the laws are different.
All right, so just how you can put your son out at any time, you can put a nigga who's staying with you out at any time.
Man, you better learn the laws of the state you live in.
You better learn all.
No, I know the laws of the state of Florida.
Nigga can't stay in my house if I want him to stay there.
Yeah, that's what you think. You can't just put people up out your house.
Yes, you. How can you put somebody out your house? It's your house.
No, I'm talking about if you call the law. That's what you think. It's not your house though. That's what you fail to understand.
Yeah, I'm paying rent.
It's not your house.
I'm paying rent.
No, this is the state's own. Your children don't even belong to you.
Nigga, I'm paying rent here. I'm talking, see, now you're going on this talk. I'm talking about, nigga, I am a tenant here. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, and I'm sitting there telling you. And the police can come tell you. And the police can come tell you they can't put you out. You couldn't put her out if she called the law. The police will tell you can't put her out.
Bet you lying.
All right, play with it.
I bet you lying.
Yeah,
but it is illegal to call.
Yeah, we don't want to go through all that. Huh?
If we knew an officer.
Say that again, Barry. I can't hear you.
I bet you lying.
You've never heard of it?
Nigga, you getting out. You can't stay in your house. Especially if you're not paying rent. I said if they was paying rent, you can't put somebody out who's paying rent.
Yeah.
If they ain't paying rent, you can put them out.
Hey, he said, dude in California said he beat up the woman in front of the police. Police gave him custody of the child. Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm. Yeah, he said the police told them that when they had to put Tamara's son out, that they couldn't put him out. And they in Pennsylvania. So they told him the same thing, they couldn't put him out. So I mean, you have to really know the laws of your state, because some laws in some states you just can't put people out.
Now he was paying rent?
No, he wasn't paying no rent. That's her son.
You got me bent.
You got yourself bent.
You better get out of my house.
Hey, I hear you.
Kill me, nigga.
I hear you, but I'm just saying though. But I mean, in certain laws and states, if somebody been staying there, like they have, some states got it, if they've been staying there a specific period of time, or if they have mail with their name on it, you just can't put them out. You have to give them an X amount of time for them to leave. You just can't put them out. Like straight up. People just can't say, get out. They just can't do that. I mean, that's if you call the law now. If they don't call, if you tell them to get out, nobody don't call the law, that nigga's gone. You know what I'm talking about? But if it gets to the point, somebody call the law and say, I'm trying to put this person out, and they don't leave, and they get intervened, man, they might tell you something you don't want to hear. That's why I done told you. Yeah, that's different. Now he's saying like that brother like mentioning like you give him a 30-day notice. You know what I'm saying? But even look what the Lord did. Before the Lord put us out of the land, He gave a plenty notice before I finna put you niggas out. He just ain't put you out. He said I gave you a 30-day notice before I put you niggas out of here. You know what I'm talking about? Even He did it. But you just got to know, because I done told y'all this before. Every state laws is different, and I just give an example because it always tripped me out. In the state of Florida, 20 grams of marijuana can get you 5 years in the state penitentiary. In Ohio, that same amount of marijuana will get you 30 days in the county jail. You know what I'm talking about? Because every state is different. I'm talking about state of Florida, murder charge, no parole, life in prison, you're done. Any other state could be 25 to life. So you got to know.
Texas, you might end up stinking.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you might end up stinking here, but you just got to know because, like I said, the laws in Georgia, like where Ariel is, they're different than the laws here. The laws in Pennsylvania where Pell at, they different than the laws here. The laws in North Carolina where T them at, they different. Just like T say, hey, they got CNAs down here, but they don't have CNAs tools like they have in North Carolina. They got something else. You know what I'm talking about? Every state different. So when you knowing that you're going to travel to a state or move to another state, you need to immerse yourself in the certain laws of that state. You shouldn't just go somewhere you don't know how they operate. You know what I'm talking about? Then they won't catch you. They won't catch you by surprise. Oh my! All right, Exodus 9, because we're gonna move on because that baby just let out something that only grown people should do. Good grief! Long time. Exodus 9 and 13, dog. He's saying, Yah said unto Moses, rise up early in the morning and stand before Pharaoh and say unto him, thus saith Yah, Elohim of the Hebrews, let my people go that they may serve me. For I will at this time send all my plagues upon thy heart and upon thy service and upon thy people, that thou may know that there is none like me in all the earth. That's why the angels were saying your judgments was true. He said, for now I will stretch out my hand, that I may smite thee and thy people with pestilence, and thou shalt be cut off from the earth. Come on, look over here about people being cut off from the earth. Come on around here to Proverbs 2. He said, when I send this stuff on you, you're going to be cut off from the earth. Proverbs 2 in the second to the last verse. We rolling. Rolling. Huh?
Chicken is down. You better get out.
I feel you. I understand.
I'll tell the law straight up. Hey man, you gonna get him out? Well, I'm killing him.
And then guess what? You going to jail.
It is what it is. That nigga trespassing.
No, but I mean, but if you was
Trespassing.
to say something like that, not only could you mess around and get yourself shot, but you gonna go to jail for assault.
Hey, I'm keeping it real, my nigga. I'm keeping it real. I want him gone. I want him gone.
Man, boy, you pull out a pistol on them white folk, they gonna be like this here. Go on, put on the gun, put on the gun. You gonna get shot. You know JSO don't play.
No, nigga, when they come through the door, it's gonna be sitting down.
I know. Ain't gonna sit on the table. It's gonna be back in the room. I don't even want to know I got it. I don't even want to know I got it. Don't mess with JSO.
I'm putting it right on the table. I'm be standing around, I'm like, listen, this officer.
Not when it comes to weapons.
Gone.
And you gonna get shot. Hebrews, Proverbs 2 and 21.
With a cigar in my mouth.
He say, for the upright shall dwell in the land, and the perfect shall remain in it. But the wicked shall be cut off from the earth, and the transgressor shall be rooted out of it. That's what these plagues are for him. That's to root the wicked out of the earth. Man already came back and told you. That's why the Lord told you. I done told you. You've already been told, because what do we already know? He spoke to us in time past by the law and the prophets, but now in these last days he has spoken to us by his son. So everything we read now, Yahshua is telling you. That's why he say, I told you before. You know what I'm talking about? I've already told you. Come on back to Exodus 9. Excuse me. And guess what? With all them plagues, they know. There ain't nobody like it. Verse 16. And in very deed for this cause I've raised thee up for to show in thee my power, that my name may be declared throughout earth. See that where Paul got that from? As yet thou exalt thyself against my people, that thou wilt not let them go. Behold, tomorrow about this time I will cause it to rain a very grievous hail, such as not been seen in Egypt since the foundation thereof, even till now. Send therefore now and gather thy cattle, and all that thou hast in the field, for upon every man and beast which shall be found in the field, and shall not be brought home, the hail shall come down upon them, they shall die. He that feared the word of Yah amongst the servant of Pharaoh made his servants and his cattle flee into the houses. You see, that's the same thing with Nineveh. That was also showing you Gentiles could be saved right there. Because he said he told Pharaoh them people, y'all better get y'all stuff, because I'm going to kill it now. And it said all those that feared Yah amongst the servants of Pharaoh went and handled that. And he that regarded not the word of Yah left his servants and the cattle in the field. You see, that's what's going on today. See, people hear the word, they're not regarding it. When you hear God's word and that warning comes, that's that. See, look at Isaiah 58:1. Then we go to Mark 1:15, if I'm not mistaken. Because then he said, if a trumpet be blown in the city, shall you not hear it? So when y'all was telling them people to do that, that was a trumpet being blown, wasn't it? He said, cry aloud and spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins. That's what he was doing then. He was telling the people, you need to hearken to what I'm telling you, because I'm coming for you. Now look at Mark 1:15. Make it verse 14. He said, now, after that John was put in prison, Yahshua came into Galilee preaching the gospel of the kingdom of God and saying, the time is fulfilled, the kingdom of God is at hand, repent ye and believe the gospel. So he said the time is fulfilled. That's what y'all was just telling them to Egyptians, wasn't it? Time fulfilled, man. I'm coming to see y'all. Y'all best believe what I say. But the people didn't believe what he said, not in that regard, and everybody who don't believe what God said, they're going to have loss, ain't it? We don't want to have loss. When this man trumpet is being blown telling you evil is coming, you need to hearken, or you're going to be just like these Egyptians here. Come back to Exodus 9. Verse 22. And Yah said unto Moses, stretch forth thy hand towards heaven, that there may be hail in the land of Egypt, upon man, and upon beast, and upon every herb of the field, throughout the land of Egypt. Moses stretched forth his rod towards heaven, and Yah sent thunder and hail and fire, and ran along upon the ground, and Yah rained hail upon the land of Egypt. So there was hail and fire mingled with hail, very grievous, such as there was none like it in all the land of Egypt, since it became a nation. And hail smote throughout all the land of Egypt, and all that was in the field, both man and beast. And the hail smote every herb of the field, and brake every tree of the field. Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, there was no hail. So you see, God protected his people, because what did we already read about him bringing that hail? We already read in Revelation, didn't we? And he said, don't hit those that got that mark right. Because those in Goshen would mean they had that mark, they were spared. So you can sit there and see the correlation and the similitude of these things. Obedience to God, being a son of Israel, or a son of Yahshua, being born of the word, will spare you from these plagues. But if you don't want to take heed to these plagues, oh, you're going to die. You're going to die. See, let's go over here to chapter 10. Is there anything else? Let's look at Exodus chapter 10. We get ready to wind this on down. We still got what? We got 3 more sessions this week. We got 3 more sessions. We got twice on the Sabbath and then on the last day of unleavened bread. Hebrews 10 and about verse 4. Here come the locusts here. We all got it in. We all got it in. He say, else, if thou refuse to let my people go, behold, tomorrow I'll bring locusts into thy coast. And they shall cover the face of the earth, that one cannot be able to see the earth, and they shall eat the residue which is escaped, which remain unto you from the hail, and shall eat every tree which grow from you out of the field. And they shall fill their houses and the houses of thy servants, and the houses of the Egyptians, which neither thy fathers nor thy fathers have seen, since the day that they were upon the earth in this day. And he turned himself and he went out from Pharaoh. So now he's sitting here talking about these locusts. Come on back to Revelation. See, this is ugly right here. And you see how this stuff line up? Because remember, everything go back to the beginning, don't it? See, we know, and I ain't even touched with these horses. We know that we can see a lot of the things, and we have seen over time, haven't we, Dwight, that a lot of this stuff in the book of Revelation you already been told. Because we got to have validation for things. And I don't think, a lot of, when you were younger, you probably heard people talking about, man, the book of Revelation is so scary, it's so this, and then you don't even realize, this man already told you all this stuff, didn't he? He already told you all this stuff. But when we look at chapter 9, pardon me, and we look at verse 17, and he said, thus I saw horses in the vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire, of jacinth and brimstone, and the heads of her horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire, smoke, and brimstone. By these 3 were a third part of the man killed by the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone, which issued out of their mouth. That sounds like missiles to you, don't it? You know what I'm talking about? Fire, smoke, and brimstone. What type of horse can be able to do that? For their power is in their mouth, and in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents, and they had heads which they do hurt. Listen what he said. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet not repented of the work of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk, neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornications or thefts. So when we sit back and we look at this, these men sat here and did not even repent, because he said, right, he said them locusts was going to come get whatever was what was left, right, that didn't get hit. And ain't that the same thing you reading right there in Revelation 9? That whatever the other plagues didn't get, I'm going to send this forth and they going to get it. Ain't that the same thing? That whatever the locusts didn't get, I'm going to send these horses that's issuing out fire, smoke, and brimstone, and they going to get it. Because these men refused to repent. And we see Pharaoh refused to repent, didn't he? He refused to repent. He said, I got to come see you. I got to come see you. I want y'all to just keep in mind, we're going to look, come back to Exodus, we're going to look at Revelation 9 and 6 in a second. Because you're going to see something about that. Back to Revelation 10, because we're going to stop at Revelation 10. Might stop at Revelation 11. But we'll see how it rolls. We'll stop at verse 6. And he said, and they shall fill thy houses, and all the houses of thy servant, and all the houses of their Egyptians, which neither thy fathers nor thy fathers' fathers have seen, since the day they were upon the earth until this day. And he turned himself and went out from Pharaoh. And Pharaoh's servant said unto him, how long shall this man be a snare unto us? Let the men go, that they may serve Yah their God. Know thou that Egypt is destroyed. And that's the same thing with Yahshua. Remember, he said he for a snare and a stumbling in it. He said, how long is this man going to be a snare unto us? You know what I'm talking about? See, come on around there to 1 Peter 2.
Just let him go.
Yeah, just let him leave, man. Stop being stubborn. He said, I ain't letting them niggas go. 1 Peter 2 and about verse 7. Make it 6. He said, wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect, precious. He that believe on him shall not be confounded. Unto you therefore which believe he is precious. But unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner. And a stone of stumbling and a rock and a fence, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, to whereunto also they were appointed. Didn't it say that Pharaoh was appointed for that same purpose? Because he was disobedient. He didn't believe. You know what I'm talking about? So when we see forth the same thing, you be disobedient, Yahshua going to be a snare and a trap. And these same plagues going to come on you. But you're not going to repent like Pharaoh did. Even when the plagues hit you. Even when the plagues hit you. You can come around here and look at Revelation 16. Let's see if he says something similar to this. Revelation 16 and about verse 8. This is what he said. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. And the men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of God, which had power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him glory. And the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom was full of darkness. Keep that in mind. And they gnawed their tongues for pain, and they blasphemed the God of heaven because of their pains and their sores, and repented not of their deeds. Now we sit back and look at this here. These people didn't even do that in Egypt, did they? When they got them sores, they didn't repent of their deeds. But they continued to blaspheme. They continued to talk reckless and talk crazy. And what you think these people are going to do? These people ain't even been hit with plagues yet and they doing it. Come on back to Exodus 10. Look at that, verse 8. Look at verse 12. Get on out of here and get us so we can get on out of here. Yeah. He said, Yah said unto Moses, stretch out thy hand over the land of Egypt for the locusts, that they may come up upon the land of Egypt and eat every herb of the land, even all that the hail left. And Moses stretched forth his rod over the land of Egypt, and brought an east wind upon the land all that day and all that night. And when it was morning, the east wind brought the locusts. And the locusts went over all the land of Egypt, and rested in all the coasts of Egypt. Very grievous were they. Before them was there no such locusts, as neither after will there be such. Listen what it said. For they covered the face of the whole earth, so that the land was darkened. Didn't it just say that this whole land was darkened in Revelation 16, that the land was full of darkness? They did eat every herb of the land, all the fruit of the trees which the hail had left, and there remained not any green thing in the trees or the herbs of the field throughout the land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron in haste, and said, I have sinned against Yah your God and against you. Now therefore forgive, I pray thee, my sin only this once, and entreat Yah your God that he may take away from me this death only. Now you got Pharaoh saying, all these plagues coming on me, please take away this death, right? Now come on back to Revelation 9 and 6. Let's see what he says. Make it 5. Read verse 5 one more time. Look at what he says. He said, and it was given that they should not kill them, but they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he strike a man. And in those days shall men seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. It sounds like Pharaoh, like, please let this death come from me, but you ain't going to die, nigga. You're going to wear all of this. Now, can y'all sit there and imagine that y'all getting smacked with some plagues and you wishing for death and you can't be able to die because God just wants you to suffer just that much? That's hard, ain't it, right there? What? That's hard for you. That's hard right there. To wish for death and it flee from you.
Lord.
And that's what Pharaoh just was saying right here in Exodus 10, verse 17. Take away this death from me only. Say, no, buddy, you ain't going to die. You going to wear this. But see, let's look at verse 18. And he went out from Pharaoh and entreated Yah, and Yah turned a mighty strong wind, which took away the locusts, and cast them in the Red Sea, and there remained not one locust in all the coast of Egypt. He said, but Yah hardened Pharaoh's heart, so that he would not let the children of Israel go. And Yah said unto Moses, stretch out thy hand towards heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. Same thing what we just seen in Revelation, man. Darkness over the whole land. He said, and Moses stretched forth his hand towards heaven, and there was thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days. Now let's look at something the Lord said. Come on to John 11. He said it was darkness in the land of Egypt for 3 days. It's actually John 12, verse 34. Make it 30. He said, Yahshua answered and said, the voice came not because of me, but for your sakes. Now is the judgment of this world. Now shall the prince of this world be cast out. Remember what we dealt with last night, Exodus 15 and 9? By that glorious power, the enemy is destroyed. And if I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all men unto me. So now he's talking about if he be lifted up from the earth, if he be rose from the dead, he draw all men to him. This he said, signifying with death he should die. The people answered him, saying, we have heard of the law that the Messiah abide forever. How sayest thou, the Son of Man must be lifted up? Who is this Son of Man? Yahshua said unto them, yet a little while the light is with you. Walk while you have light, lest darkness come upon you. For he that walk in darkness know not whither he goeth. While you have light, believe in the light, that you may be children of the light. These things spake Yahshua and departed, and he hid himself from them. So now you're telling me if you walk in darkness, you don't know where you're going. Remember what Egypt means, bondage, right? Meaning you walk in sin, you don't know where you're going. He said walk in the light while you got the light. Come on back to Exodus. Look at verse 23. Here we said in verse 23. He said they saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days. But all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. So you see what that's dealing with? When you walking in darkness for 3 days, and when he rose in 3 days, he said the whole time we had light, didn't we? That's signifying that this man was going to bring forth life in them 3 days that he rose from the dead. We got light. He said, but them sinners, they walking in darkness. He said, but my children, they walk in light. They got light in their houses. You know what I'm talking about? See, come on around here to 1 John 1, and we probably call it night right there. Ain't gonna go no longer. We start right there. 1 John, we start right there. 1 John 1 and 5. Matter of fact, make it 1 and 1. We call it a night right there. That's long enough. He said, that which was from the beginning, which we have heard, which we have seen with our eyes, and which we have looked upon and our hands have handled, of the word of life. For the life was manifested, and we have seen it, because in him was life, and the light was the light of men. So that means children of Israel had light in them. They had life. Because there's no way in the world, because we know darkness signifies death. We already can sit there. He said, take this death away from me only, right? All these people had death in their land. But the children of Israel had light, because we had the sun. He said, for life was manifested, and we've seen it, and bear witness, and show unto you that eternal life, which was with the Father, and was manifested unto us. Which we have seen and heard and declare we unto you, that you also may have fellowship with us. And truly our fellowship is with the Father and with his Son, Yahshua the Messiah. I say hallelujah for Yahshua, and thanks be to God for his Son, for the word. Y'all understood all of that? That's enough. We ain't gonna go no further. Huh? About 2 hours and 8 minutes.